many wannabe league streamers these days like use the Tyler 1 headset because they just perma rage and do the whole
like,
oh my god, and then you just hear like the peaked mics like, this fucking top play doesn't move for me, blah 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 blah. Honestly, I thought that's what like
that is the essence of League of Legends.
Well,
like
yeah.
it or not, he is the #1 streamer in the world.
Yeah, I mean,
Wow.
but
He even won the award
In the world.
but he's the OG.
I don't know.
For
I'm
it,
making sure
and
that-
everyone else that basically does the same thing, even if they play different champions or they do like our different roles, it's literally still just copying the Tyler
All right,
1.
time to see what all you rats are talking about in Twitch chat.
Also, discount code Alpha, even if we aren't sponsored anyway. Welcome to Raising an A.
Count code Alpha for what?
10% off on everything on the Tyler 1 store.
No, honestly, me and Cubby have a lot to thank Tyler 1. We had some of our largest viewing audiences on the T1 champion.
Yeah, and he paid Zazel more than Solfide. Anyway, that's a good entrance.
True.
Good entrance into the podcast.
My goat.
Yeah. Welcome, special guest Carrie, as we're calling it, Bradley. Congrats on top 4, by the way. As we now have our 4 teams decided.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's wrong. You guys sat in the wrong order.
It's okay.
So we were talking.
Congratulations, Bradley.
Yeah!
Good job.
TL challenges top later here, baby.
I mean, we were telling like Bradley to like get comfy, and he made what we are now deeming as Fort Bradley in his corner.
Yeah.
And also, I gotta say,
Do you want the military blanket?
Really make
the
Wait, that'd
camo.
actually be that'd be better actually for like fort. You know?
Fort Bradley.
Yeah, I'm really like getting comfy in my fort here.
For any audio only listeners, he is on one end of the couch. He has 3 blankets and like 3 pillows, and he is commandeering Rafa's normal position.
No, that is fine. He's the guest. He can choose any side of the couch that he wants.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That sounded like a only slightly approving mom.
we did opt to get comfy, and I do want to start. I mean, we're gonna start with NACL stuff. Bradley, you guys were the 9 seed going in the playoffs. You guys are now sitting in top 4. What the hell's gone on the past couple weeks? You guys have been on fire.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It was very weird because going 9th seed was kind of weird. I don't think anyone really expected us to go 9th seed. I don't think even ourselves, I don't think we expect to go 9th seed either. In saying that though, I do want to say that it was really close. Like the standings, like the actual win-loss.
There were 7 teams within 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like if we had won like 1 or 2 more, we easily could have been like 4th or 3rd.
Yeah.
So I don't think the individual number seeding kind of matters as much, even if like we're expected to do well. But what I will say is I think midway we kind of realized that we need to be doing a little bit more than what we're actually doing if we're actually going to try to turn things around, you know, and not be 9th seed. So we kind of focused really, really heavily going into this tournament being like, let's just give it our all. Let's go.
Nice. I mean, I think you guys have played really well, especially like your map play has been cleaned up a lot, which
Shout
has
out
been
to the Coach Tiff for that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the map play. Yeah.
Jake Spawn Tiberian.
I mean, it has been really fun to watch. So I mean, it's been a fun tournament so far. I don't know like what your impressions are so far, or like any highlights for you about like what's been going on. But I mean, we had a crazy best of 5 today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you about your future opponents later.
Okay.
But I don't know, like what have like highlights been for you so far? Whether it's like your guys' games, like overall.
Highlights of our games. Well, Arrow getting a penta was kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
That was pretty hype.
That was kind of cool. I will say he did steal 2 of my kills though. I had such a nice flank. They were both on 1 HP, and I was like, nice. I'm gonna get yummy gold here.
Jinx ult.
And Jinx ult took both of them. I was like, okay, that works too. And then all of a sudden, I hear this guy go, "Give me!" After the quadra. Give me.
Yeah.
Nice.
You should have taken it back. This is what you get for taking my double.
I should have actually. You know, speaking of last year, we actually had a a culture of stealing pentakills.
Yeah,
Last
that's
year.
what I'm saying, right? Every
Yeah.
penta needs to be earned. You can't just be given them.
That was Harry's mindset,
Yeah.
literally word for word. Like it needs to be earned. And
We
then
earn
he'll try
You
pentas
to-
in
earn
this
your
house.
pentas.
Yep, he would go as far as to even if he was out of fight, Harry would be telling me to take the pentakill. Like, no, you have to take it. Like
Brandon,
take
Brandon,
it. Like
Brandon,
use
take the
Q.
penta.
Like yeah. Like literally.
Deny it.
So yeah.
That is actually something I wanted to ask you guys, or at least you, like with LCS now, like being out of playoffs. If you had like any bonus help from the team or like the staff of LCS to just kind of like take a look at things you guys are doing.
I mean, I know you talked about, I think Marin even giving you 1v1s.
Yeah, I've asked Marin for some help, like doing 1v1s with Marin. He helps a lot. I would say, like after playoffs, like
He's still very good, by the way. His solo
Oh,
queue
yeah.
account's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, of
insane.
course.
Yeah.
he was even nice too. Like after we won versus 100 Thieves, he came into the room like after like a couple hours later. He was like, hey, congratulations. I was like, all right, thanks.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you.
That's cool. Yeah.
Shoutouts to Morin.
Yeah.
Oh, what is he like as a person?
He is a very kept individual. He seems very friendly and bubbly, but he doesn't really express it unless you start talking to him. Like he is a very kept person until you start to talk to him, and then he's like very like easy to talk to, that kind of thing. Very happy, I think.
Cool.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Who's your favorite new teammate?
My favorite new
Straight to the
teammate,
heart.
honestly, it's probably Mir.
Mir?
It's probably Mir, yeah. Mir's probably my favorite new teammate.
Do you still say fucking disgusting about everything?
Yeah, and that's actually part of the reason I think Mir might be like one of my favorite new teammates, just because
The potty mouth.
well, he's just very blunt. He's
Yeah.
just very blunt, and like how he says things, and especially because he's from like Australia and like
Yeah.
those, like they're very blunt as well. So he just says things very direct, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
When I
Does
visited,
he have a girlfriend yet?
Does Mir? No.
No.
But for the podcast, guys, my boy Mir, he's very attractive. He's
top
very
4
funny.
NACL.
Yep. He's good looking. He plays League for a living. He was that guy with Chovy. Yep, that guy.
That guy.
He is looking for a girlfriend. So, all the girls in Twitch chat, all one of you.
What's his Twitter? What's his Twitter?
I'd be careful, Bradley. I'm pretty sure
What's
we
his
actually have
Twitter?
a few fans that are also.
I'm just playing.
It's like Mirror Park Lol or something?
it's like Mir Park. So yeah, he's looking for
Fine,
it. Yeah.
I'll look it up. We'll drop it. All right. Anyway.
Fun times. No,
This guy is also looking for a GF. Too.
no. I like Mir because when I visited your
Oh,
guys,
you want to date Mir?
no, I mean, how much is gonna play Lee Sin? That's anyway. When I went over to TL
Turning red.
for your guys' scrims, I was like eating like in like the food area, and you guys were like grabbing a snack in between your scrim blocks, and I was like kind of visiting with Mir, and I was like, hey Mir, like how have you liked it here so far? Like, and he's like, can I be honest? And I'm like, yeah, of course. He's like, LA. Kind of weird. I kind of don't like it, and so that hence Mir, I get along with Mir. He doesn't like LA. I'm into it.
What was he saying when we were driving? He was like, yeah, LA is fake as fuck.
Yes.
Yeah, because like I definitely think kind of like that, to go back like Australian kind of thing. Like they're just
It's
a
only
lot-
2 X's,
they're-
man.
I know that was intentional.
That's you gave the Papa Smithy version.
The OnlyFans
Oh
version.
my god.
he's just a lot more direct. So when like he comes across people that are maybe not necessarily fake, but like a lot less confrontational or like direct and forward, like
Yeah.
it's not what he's used to, and he doesn't like it as much for sure.
Amir, I had fun visiting you guys for scrims. That was definitely a good time. And yeah, I guess whatever's been cooking over there, it's been working out pretty well.
Was he cooking?
Oh, we've been cooking.
Oh yeah. So we didn't have a podcast last week as we had a very busy week between LCS Super Week, Josh's debut, by the way. Congrats on LCS.
Woo! Let's go, Josh.
And also our busiest week of broadcasts. We had 4 days of 2 broadcasts. So somewhat apologize for missing out, but of course,
I'm not. Fuck you.
we've gone corporate.
Me neither.
So yeah, and like fortunately that took precedent. But what that does mean is that we have missed all of NACL ever since. Like we did a preview when it started, so we missed the last 2 weeks. So fortunately, we have Bradley to kind of help us go through some of the major topics or news. I do actually want to start, Bradley. Probably, I think this is the biggest story of NACL. It's going to be your opponents in the next round, Bradley.
Yeah.
Besides you guys going from the 9 seed, the top 4, which I think is major, Cincinnati Fear as a provisional team and the 4 seed have made it to top 4 in the bracket. I don't know what your thoughts are on them as a team. Of course, you know, they're your opponents this upcoming week, but it's a pretty incredible story. It's the second best non-affiliate LCS affiliate finish since we started PG in 21, so in 5 tournaments. As PG is a pretty similar tournament to what we are running now. I don't know. Any thoughts, Bradley, about your opponents for next week?
I mean, fear Trevor, man. Like, I actually fear Trevor. I used to play on a team with this guy way back when.
Yes,
So-
way back when.
When you were CP Freeze? Oh, the CP Freeze
Yep.
days.
Was that
important.
you were with Philip and Meech for that
Yep,
too? No,
Yep.
yeah,
And Hunter.
yep.
The goats. Shout out the goats, all of them.
Who's Hunter?
So he's kind of
Jungler.
like a new one trick.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh,
FA
that
Hunter, FA
guy.
Hunter, yeah.
Back on Bethany,
Okay,
baby.
Yep.
Oh, my
Yep.
goodness.
So props to him, because I definitely think that I remember talking about broadcast earlier. He feels like he's been overshadowed a little bit because of his age.
Yep.
So it feels good to actually see him perform really well on kind of like in an upset manner.
I definitely said that in Game 5 today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of
I'm
kinda
happy
just,
for him too.
Yeah, I'm kind of just re-quoting you here just because I share the same feelings. And
Yeah, I mean,
as
obviously
far-
you're boys with them, right? I just cover the league,
Yeah,
but yeah.
So and then as far as the team as a whole, I mean, I definitely do think they kind of low key remind me of Wild Card when I played with Arrow, kind of. Except for
2021 Wild Card.
obviously maybe Arrow being on the team, which kind of helped us a bit.
Yeah, it did.
Except for that, because honestly, when I look at them and when I was on Wildcard, when I look back at us, it definitely felt like when you're an amateur and I feel like you have like a decent run going, I feel like something about it just makes you seem a lot more together, just because it's so easy to form the kind of like all of like the group of like rookie like gang like getting together and like playing together, like they're going far, like that kind of thing. So it reminds me a lot of like my days on Wildcard when we used to play and that kind of thing.
I think there's also some similar comparisons that you can draw between Perry and Winnie, how they play on the team. Because Winnie is always someone who has been very much, I am playing to get my team ahead.
Yeah.
I think when Perry first started, he was more of a selfish player because he that's where he came from. But I think that summer split with Dignitas helped him understand how to create better early game plans and become, I mean, I still think he has the ability to just be a straight up carry player, but I think a lot of his intentions, especially like one of the best things I saw from Perry today in the series was them reading the 3-wave die setup that FlyQuest wanted to do bot
Game
lane.
4,
Yeah.
they lost. I
and-
gave him credit for that on Twitter.
I mean, they still lost it, but I remember thinking, holy shit, like Perry understands where they probably warded because they didn't see it exactly. He's like, okay, they're probably going to ward Gromp. I'm going to loop back around, do blue, wolves, Gromp, make them think, okay, I'm covering here in case they do it right away, but then I'm going to leave and make it look like, oh, Perry wants to be efficient. I'm going to path towards my top side. Fakes it, goes back around, and then waits for the play to happen. And unfortunately for them, they still lost a little bit of the laning phase afterwards. But like, I think that something like that intentionally being shown by a jungler that young and also not on a challenger team is something that I feel like Winnie would also do during the wildcard.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like Perry and Faisal were the clear, like even going into the season, like, hey, these are challengers levels like players.
Sure.
Like those were the two going in that I fully expected to like be able to hang with pretty much anyone in the league. I think the biggest difference for me, I mean, Winnie for me is someone that like he's never seen a fight that he doesn't like, and Bradley can probably vouch for that. You know, being his mid laner for that team.
That's true.
Yeah, this guy loves to fight.
That's fair.
I think that Perry's a little bit more disciplined, and also like I think given the meta too, now that Trevor's
Perry
unengaged,
is-
that's been a big shift for Fear.
Perry is much better visualization of like the steps he needs to take in a fight than Winnie most of the time, right? You can tell. I have so many memories of Perry like going in for a fight, and it's like this only works if you do X, Y, and Z, and he'll do it. and then he won't necessarily know what to do after that.
Like-
but he will do like all the steps at the beginning of the fight right.
I think a really good one today is like there was one fight they were chasing down. It was either Jinx or it might have been the Callista game when they were ahead, and he took the dragon and he waited in the pit for his team to like get there, and he just queued over the wall where he just pretty much split Jinx from the team or split Mossy like from the rest of FlyQuest.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and like that was a really good instance where like Perry was really patient. He waited for his team to get there, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, like Jinx is fucked in the fight. Like Fear like just win. I feel like a lot of their members have really good moments like that. But yeah.
ASMR stream.
What the fuck?
AS Mark Rafa.
Also, I do want to credit FLYC for game 1. That Cassante game 1, Bradley. I don't know. I know that you wanted to share your story about game 1.
Yeah.
Spectating this.
Yeah, like I woke up, like I was laying in bed, I was being a bit lazy. I checked my phone, it was like 1:30. I was like, oh, they're probably in game. I tune in. Score was like 2-8. Winsome is like slowly killing Manui. I was like, yeah, that's enough for that.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up out of bed, probably like start my routine, and I check back. I see it's like in break. I'm like, nice. Like I'm just gonna go back and see how they closed it out. And I go back to the end, and I see like 24-22. I was like, wait, there's no way.
That is
right.
That is almost exactly what my reaction was. Like I was watching on my phone, lying in bed because we spent the night at the cabana, and
Well,
I
not
get
we,
back.
you guys.
Well, this two. Not,
Cubby was lame. Didn't
no.
want to play sword fight with the boys, you know.
No, I'm gonna use a great phrase that all my married friends use, and that is it's an iconic text to get in our group chat. You know what that is?
Huh.
Gentlemen, house hotel for the weekend. I had it for one night, but I had the house hotel. It's just
You're
me.
married?
No, a lot of my friends are. We had to do some things to get in the Casa de Casters. Mark's the mob boss. Anyway,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, I
House
come
hotel.
back super tired. I start watching it. I get up to the exact same point of watching the Tom Kench solo kill Manui, and it's like, all right, there's no way they lose.
I called it
I'm
done and
gonna-
dusted.
I'm gonna start like nodding off. Wake back up. We're in the middle of game 2. I'm like, wait, why did it say that Fear won that game?
Hey,
What happened?
stupid broadcast bug.
Stupid Brock.
Someone tell him in Twitch chat.
He's supposed to like open up like the broadcast channel and be like feedback, like, "Hey guys, I think game 1 is
Yeah.
showing for the wrong team."
You guys put the wrong thing, right?
There's no way. There's no way.
That was like my prediction going into the day was a FlyQuest 3-1. I thought they gentlemen.
Do you remember?
I still feel like I was
in
right.
your Twitch chat. I was
Yeah.
saying, I told you.
You did.
I was like, I think Fear can win. By the
Yeah.
way,
You said that, and I was like, I really don't like see a way like given like the recent tape. I was like,
Yeah.
because I thought that FlyQuest were too flexible as a team because they've shown they can play early, they can play late, they can play team fight, they can play stretch the map. I thought that stretch the map would be what they would go for. They
Yeah.
didn't really go for it until game 3, which they lost, but
Fiora.
I feel like they played it well.
Yeah, I
Game
think
3
they
was
did that too.
Game 3 was the most interesting game of the series for me because it was like the two different strategies. I thought each team played okay.
That was the Philip Fiora game where
Yeah.
you put 2 inhibs on the side.
yeah,
Yeah. So, but I was like, yeah, if like Fly like play their shit, if they put like Yuji on Graves or something, like it's gonna be like I'm gonna favor Fly, and it just didn't pan out that way. I don't know. I Fear played well. I think that Fly had good strats until game 5. We don't talk about that draft. And yeah, the rest of the series was like it was honestly 4 bangers and a wipe for game 5. It was really fun.
I mean, I like the cooking attempt for Game 5. I liked it. They full sent it. They were like, all right, we have Calista Liani. Like, let's.
Well, no. That was game 4.
Oh wait. Oh, that was Game 4.
Game 4 was good. Game 4 draft was good.
Oh,
Did you see game 5 draft?
wait. I remember. Okay, I was eating Game 5 with the team to celebrate our victory over 100 Thieves for kind of lunch.
Nice.
So I
Kind of
did
lunch.
watch it, but I don't remember the draft.
Okay, so it was the first 3 for Fly. They were on red side. They
Yeah.
took Sejuani, Aphelios, and then TK.
Yeah.
And then the first 3 for Fear, it was first pick Gragas into Vigar Tristana. So they double flexed the Vigar Trist,
Oh yeah,
right?
I remember this kind of. Yeah.
And so they're on blue. And then it is a 4-pick Yone. And Gwen was banned.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
because they banned out Fiora Gwen, and so I'm like, okay, they're probably setting up for Cassante, right?
Right.
It was a Yone on 4, and then they responded with Scion Rel. And then 5 pick was Gnar, and there was no magic damage for FlyQuest into Rel Scion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not very playable.
I did enjoy the Rel pick once they saw.
I saw the
Comcast.
angles.
Once they saw, okay, it's good at the TK, but also once they see Yone, Rel was so fucking unplayable if you're playing melees. Like if you're like Aurelia, Yone, Yasuo, Rel is like the bane of your existence.
Well, I do want to say, as far as magic damage goes, I don't think there's no magic damage.
Yone had some.
Gnar actually has some too. His mini
Yeah.
does like it's not a lot.
chunks,
Don't get me
yeah.
wrong, it's not a lot.
Hey, you're
But
kind of
if
monster
you're-
coping. I respect it.
But I'm just saying, if Yone and Gnar are able to free hit for a little bit, they definitely will feel it if
Yeah,
they're
that's
only
fair, that's
stacking
fair.
armor.
They both do about 20%
Little bit about a
of
coping.
their profile as magic damage.
Yeah. it's definitely not a lot.
And then you're playing a melee comp in a Rel.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that part.
Yeah.
It's cool too because
Can we get a sound effect?
I was bummed.
Unfortunately, the only sound effects I actually found, we got sound effects on the soundboard. We only have sad trumpet. We have the bass hit. The like.
Can we do sad trumpet?
Manny.
You guys can't hear it, but we just
Thank
did
you.
it. But then we also have various musical stings that I don't quite understand.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah, there. I know
Why
that.
are those there, by the way?
Mark, didn't you?
I
Wasn't there a
triggered one
joke?
of them.
Yeah, there was a joke behind the scenes concerning that one.
Yeah. So the top left.
Not
bump-
gonna
the
report
top left
that
button
joke.
Manny plays like you're gonna hear it.
Yeah, I know. I hit these by accident. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Okay, we can't hear it. So Bradley doesn't know what it is.
You're gonna have to sum up what his music sounds like to
It's
us.
like a game show intro sting almost.
Well, when
We
we
called
played
it something
for-
different.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
our prod was like,
Uh,
"What is this porn music being played right now?"
Wait.
Because it was just like,
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
yeah,
I don't
good
know.
times.
Manny, I'm gonna send you some photos that I want you to use throughout the podcast at some point. Should I send it to Cubby's Discord DM?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Continue on.
Can you just put it in the group chat at this point? I feel left out.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Bradley.
I assume they're
It's probably
I
making
assume
fun
they're gonna
of you.
concern making fun of me, so we're gonna pass on looking at those, so you get my real reaction.
We can do that plenty without
Oh.
the pictures.
That's true.
fair.
Oh.
This is usually the
The
podcast. where I get
mute
bullied.
button.
Wait, these
I'm
are.
a little scared to
these
be
are
sitting
banger.
here.
Hell yeah.
Wait, these are banger. Okay.
Oh.
Bradley, upper bracket matchup. We do have C9 versus Dignitas.
Yeah.
You need to win your best of 5 to face them.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that matchup or those two teams throughout the tournament, as they have been our upper bracket victors?
You know, both those teams are very interesting in their own regard. I actually feel like Dignitas have been. I feel like they've been actually more lane dominant players
Yes.
than
No, 100%.
than like anyone else in the tournament.
Oh, they're the full court press team. They're the we pick 3 pushing lanes. We're
Yeah.
gonna take winning jungle, and we're
Yeah.
just gonna like fuck you. And like
Yeah.
unless and if we don't, then we lose. But
And I feel like C9, while I do feel like they have good players, obviously, if you look at how Fake God and Lost play, I don't feel like they're necessarily very lane dominant players.
God is not a
Not
good
to say that they're going to lose lane,
yep.
but they don't. I don't think their importance is necessarily counterpick Rumble, counterpick Kennen, like Whom was doing to Darshan earlier when they played versus
Yeah.
Thieves. Theirs is more like kind of like the structure of, you know, their identity of farming 10 CS per minute on every lane, rocking up to team fights and just saying, lol, look at our experience, noobs.
Noobs.
Yeah.
Literally.
God is
Noob check.
Fake God is kind of like old TSM Dyrus, you know, just like the number of times where he's just the sack lane is wild, and he's still just fine in a lot of those games.
He's way better than Dyrus. That's mean.
Yeah, Dyrus got a meme
Not at
because
his
he got
peak.
dove
Dyrus
over
was
and
pretty good
over.
at his peak.
Yeah, Dyrus. Okay, but also, yeah, I mean, games come a long way. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
When I thought Dyrus might be on the LCS
Oh sure,
top
like
10
if
all
you
time,
just
I
took
was
Fake
like,
God right now,
Oh
and
my God.
put him like in Dyrus's shoes, like back in those days, yeah, Fake God would fucking smash it.
him being on the top 10 top laners list last year was actually the most fraudulent thing ever.
Wait, that was a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
I
did.
forgot
wow.
that.
They
I
did
think
LCS
he was like
10.
number 10.
No, yeah, they did like LCS like 10.
Ah.
I mean, I do love the guy, but no, he wasn't the best player of all time.
Yeah. I mean, it
Wait,
was.
was he number
Everyone
what?
loves
I thought he was
Darius.
just like.
He's not good.
I thought he was low on the list.
No, I think
Yeah,
he
he
was,
was.
LCS
He was
like 10th.
He's like 10th. Yeah.
Oh,
he's
10th
still-
all time for
yes.
like all positions.
Yes.
No, no, not in all positions in the
I
top
thought it was
lane
just
one.
top lane.
No, but he was at LCS 10 in summer finals. He walked out on the stage.
Yeah, he walked out,
Yeah.
But
as,
that didn't-
as the person who wrote the walkout, we didn't actually do that based off the list. We just did it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was just like
nice, nice flex, Manny.
Yeah,
Nice.
it
flex.
As the person who wrote the LCS 10 walkout. No.
As the one person here not looking for dates and girlfriend. You know. Oh wait, what?
Oh, nice.
Oh, what's that? I
Why
don't
is that
know.
on
Nah.
me?
Oh, wait.
How salty am I in that photo? Where'd you get that?
Oh,
Oh, did you take it from the clip?
I did take it from the clip.
Oh God.
Man, if you
okay.
show all three phases, I can explain.
All three.
No.
think
Oh,
we need
this
all
is the
three.
Bully Cubby podcast. It's actually the Bully Cubby podcast. Oh boy.
I've brought the Bully Cubby special halftime show to now the Raising NA podcast.
This is great. I don't even need to talk.
Kelsey
more. Just
says,
sit
as
here
the
and
person
take
who wrote the
photos.
walkout, my intention
great.
was not clear to the
I like
audience.
this podcast.
What'd you say?
As the person who wrote the walkout, my intention was not clear to
That
the
is
audience.
fun. That's fair.
Oh, now Manny's getting red. Oh, all right.
Bully Manny hours.
All right, we should return to NACL though.
NACL.
Yeah. Also, Bradley, we call the league NACL sometimes. Are you a fan or no?
I'm sorry. Wait, can you say it? again?
NACL, NACL,
Knackle.
NACL.
NACL.
Knackle. I think I'm a fan of like the Salt League. I like the Salt
Okay.
League.
Salt
Okay.
League.
I don't know. I mean, Knuckles.
We're trying not to be salty NA fans here. We have enough of those already.
Yeah.
We were told to try and avoid calling it Salt League.
Wait, really? Oh.
Yeah, branding purposes, you know.
Yeah.
It's actually LCS Challengers in full.
Yeah. So the hashtag is
Nice. That is good.
the hashtag.
Yeah.
is
You want to give the
NAL,
context
but
now?
The NA
All right.
stands for LCS.
All right, so from the middle is so context. There's a clip where Cubby requested a vanilla
I'm
latte,
getting put on fucking
and when
blast.
he has when he has coffee,
This is the
he-
fourth-
he has
fourth one.
coffee farts. You know, and we've made it well known that
Hang
he
on,
re-
Bradley. What did I make before this podcast started? And that is in this mug.
It's tea?
It's a coffee.
Oh. Oh, I failed the test.
Okay. So
Anyway.
and now Josh, you're sitting next to me.
I'm
Have
aware.
I farted at all during this podcast?
Not out loud.
Okay. Continue.
We did
Anyway,
those.
I can literally hear next door because my room is next to
our
Cubby's
walls are
room.
thin.
Our
We can hear
walls are
everything.
thin, and I just hear. I'm like, no fucking way he's doing that during the
You gotta get a
broadcast.
specific line.
Come on. no.
I'm like, come on,
No,
no, way.
no. Okay, the best part about this is I went when rip, and immediately I just hear through my mom Mark go, "Come on, really?" His hands down. The best part. Anyway, continue.
And I immediately go to the broadcast. I'm like, please tell me, God, this got clipped. And I see that in the clip, he reaches over to his mute button, mutes it, and then he like kind of pivots to the side.
Okay,
and he just goes,
The second part's fake news. all right?
no. You muted your mic
No.
for that very reason.
I did mute my mic for that reason. That is not fake news. Leading to the side to let it rip is I have to, try and like make it look cool. Like I'm hitting mute, which I do hit mute a lot. Sometimes I got to type to production. Sometimes I need to pull up a note. Sometimes you need to go check Twitter and hit like on a tweet. No, that's
Sometimes you got to rip
No,
that.
no, he
And then
tweets during
sometimes
the
I
broadcast
have
more
to
than
rip
anyone
out.
I know.
not during broadcast. Never tweet during. I've tweeted during broadcast once, but it was funny. All right.
There
So
it is.
anyway,
Anyway.
those three faces were like, mine was the, at the beginning of the rip, the right side
This is
was
Mark's interpretation of the
this is
fart
what I
pass
thought
during the mute.
the beginning of the rip, the right side, or this Josh's face was after the rip, and then Bradley's face, which was post rip, and him being finally relieved and like, all right, back to business.
I mean, I will say, the face over Bradley does look like just sheer relief and happiness.
Yeah.
we're not gonna lie there.
Do look pretty happy.
Yeah,
No
I
further
mean,
comments.
I mean, like
It's not Bully Cubby 2 hard hours.
I mean, if you're ripping ass and you don't feel better afterwards, then like why even ripping ass?
What if you still have more to rip? You're
I-
not done.
I'm not done, but we're gonna save that for after the podcast and after you guys leave and go to bed. Or when I go
Ladies,
to the
he's
bathroom.
into ripping.
No,
Oh man.
I'm gonna stick to the joke that I've said before on this podcast, which Bradley probably hasn't heard, as Bradley's like very awkwardly like, why the fuck did I come over? Which is, if I'm gonna pay LA rent, I'm gonna fart in my house.
I think that's.
I want to get
fair.
my money's worth. You know?
I probably haven't heard it before, but that's fair. That's a fair statement, you know.
Bradley, does this change your perception of us as broadcast talent?
Nah, probably not. Probably not. No, not in the slightest. I don't think. Cause like, I mean, at the end of the day, I think you do remember, like, even if it's like at various times that like everyone in the scene, we're all gamers. We have our moments, you know. If I learned that Cubby rips ass for like 10 hours straight, like it happens, you know. Like, no hard feelings.
Mark.
I've
Yeah, I
probably
I do
done
want
it
you
too.
to go from he's very single and see what you'd like to say on that topic.
Okay, there's being single and there's being very single.
No, keep going.
Oh, is there more?
Oh, like Andrew's part and the rest of it.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Hang on.
These are facts being shared. In
Yes,
the chat.
it is bully Cubby hours. Ladies, he's single. Beat down. Okay, that's so real though. He's very single. So are you, Josh. Oh God, don't say that. There's being single. Ladies, Josh is also single. Eric goes, this bastard farted in the caster booth too.
Oh,
Last part.
And I'm less single though from Josh. That is true because
You don't have to expand.
Yeah.
It's true because I fall in the very single category. And that's not changing anytime soon. Anyway, continue.
I'm moderately single.
Congrats.
good job, Josh.
This is fun. All right, we should change topics into more NA.
Bradley,
stuff again.
on the spectrum, where are you
on the spectrum.
of singleness?
that is
singleness.
the worst way
on
to say that.
on the single spectrum.
Yeah, I feel like back to NACL.
How active is your dating life? This is what Josh is intending to ask.
Back to NACL. Dun, 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 dun. We were talking about.
Manny, I think, is the least single.
This is already off the rail.
Yeah.
That
like
might
10
be true.
minutes?
Oh my
Not
God.
bad.
Yeah, man, you get your third date?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go.
Let's go,
He's
man.
the least single.
God.
Yep.
All right.
This is not our most unhinged episode.
Yeah, we're not nearly as drunk on this one as we were with Kangas.
No, we're no.
Anyway.
we're-
Back to NACL, Cloud9 Dignitas.
I'm having. Oh God, that was on. Oh God. All right, this is fun, guys. Any thoughts on teams that were eliminated, Bradley, or any teams that you feel like were better than where they placed in the tournament?
Ooh.
I got
Yeah, actually. I was sad that we had to play against CLG. I do think like I am very happy that we beat CLG. But I was very sad that we had to go against them because I think like their tournament that also could have, or their team that also could have went very far. And, you know, it could have been like who is better on the day type thing. Because if you look back at it, I don't want to say, okay, we didn't roll them in game one, I don't think. I think game one was pretty even though we fell behind in kills early. We weren't really behind in gold. And then we team fought well, so we won game one pretty evenly. And then they rolled us game two, and then we rolled them game three. So it's just like, I don't know. It feels weird because, especially in a best of three, it's just like, it was only like 2 games were complete stomps, one
Yes.
versus the other, and then we just played one good game. So it feels weird, like that's all it kind of took for us to win, because it easily could have been the other way around,
Yeah.
especially for CLG. So
I know that like throughout the season 2, CLG has been. I don't want to speak for you guys, but one of your bigger scrim partners.
oh yeah,
I feel more comfortable saying this now that CLG's out.
yeah.
Obviously,
We scrim CLG so much.
yeah, you guys scrim them a ton, and like you and every team that was scrimming CLG behind the scenes. We heard from Dignitas, we heard from you, even C9, that on their best day, CLG is probably one of, if not the best team in the league.
Yeah,
And we just did not see that in the tournament. You guys took them out, obviously, and made it all the way to top 4. And it says a lot for the form that CLG was in, but that definitely was a big surprise for us.
I actually do think, and by no way am I trying to throw any shade on the players of CLG. I think they're all good.
Yeah.
It's very surprising though, because even last year, I don't know if you remember, it does not feel like they played the same on stage. Like when it gets to playoffs, like regular season, I think they look good. Like even there too, even though like they actually their seed wasn't that good as well as ours, right? But it was so close. But I feel like whenever it gets to playoffs and that kind of thing, I don't know, they don't kind of look the same.
They don't perform.
I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I think that, you know, looking at what they've done, I mean, thinking of spring of last year especially, where they were the top team and then they got out 7-8.
Yeah.
And then this year, I think things were closer. So I think spring was a bigger disappointment than this spring. But
Yeah.
I know that, like, you know, from every team we talked to behind the scenes, it's like, yeah, COG is really good.
Yeah,
They had games on stage where they were really good.
Quote from APA from when he was on like a couple weeks back, where he said that he felt you guys learned more from your scrims than CLG did.
Oh, I would say that's very accurate, actually.
I mean, usually that means because you're getting shit on.
Partly, yeah.
Yeah.
Partly. I also think it's also partly due to the fact that they, as a 4 core, like already had the same players, and their one different player was already experienced enough to not necessarily learn as much. Like he was definitely going into the year as a prospect already, right? So, and then like you look at our team and we have 2 rookies, right? And then Mir and Arrow. So whilst we did not have maybe some games where we didn't have like as competitive games, I think the leadership that Spawn has over the team is very, very good. And it definitely holds everyone to the standard that, you know, we all set for ourselves, where it's like, you know, guys, it's fine if we get our ass kicked, but you better be learning from it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
No, I mean, if you want to be a true competitor, you gotta live with getting your ass kicked a couple times. That's how you're gonna learn.
Especially with 2 rookies, you know.
I mean, not just that. I mean, you got a couple guys in your team that come from like a fighting background as well.
Yeah.
Like that is a very literal thing where like you
That's
have
true,
to
as
get your
well.
ass kicked to
And that,
win.
yeah.
They understand
For sure.
that. I feel like in a different aspect than some others. But also, I do want to talk about the fact that, I mean, as I said, it kind of feels disingenuous calling APA a rookie given all the experience he has, but he is a rookie this year. Now, I think that someone that is 100% a rookie and might be one of the freshest faces that we have had in Challengers has been Kim Down. And Kim Down has been really big for you guys in playoffs. I think the meta swap and you guys like playing Renata has been really big. Any thoughts like on him and his growth and improvement?
Kim Down is probably like one of like the nicest teammates I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
In terms of like his attitude and how he talks with everyone. It's always funny too because he's especially one of the most hardworking as far as rookies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like literally after every scrim game, like Arrow will just pull up the VOD and they'll instantly just start talking to each other in Korean for like 30 minutes. It's insane. Like he's like, you stand here, you should be here, they're like this. Kim's like, okay, yeah, like yep, I understand,
Yeah, okay,
like that
thanks.
kind of thing. And it's like day in, day out, just like non-stop, and you can see it too. Kim Down is actually like, he's usually like the first in the office. He wakes up at like 8 in the morning, 9.
Well,
Always
he's a human.
and well, normally scrim started at like 12, that kind of thing.
Good for him.
So like he gets in the office very early and he grinds solo queue before we even play scrims.
Let's go, Kim Down.
So he's very, very hardworking. So, and it's, he definitely deserves like kind of the growth and the recognition that, you know, I'm sure he's starting to get.
So my favorite part about your guys' tryouts, of course, tryouts were public.
Yeah.
Some of them were. It was everyone who watched the tryouts were they just were like, how did Kim Down get the spot? Like he didn't play well in tryouts. And I was like behind the scenes for that. And I was like, I just had a big smile on my face. I was like, these guys don't know.
You know what's actually funny too?
Yeah.
The public TL tryouts. I was in Korea during this time.
Yes, you were.
And the amount of comments that I saw being like, oh, I hope Soul or Surdy can spot. I was like, what the hell, guys? What's going on? Yo, I haven't left.
Here, man.
Like I'm in Korea.
Yeah.
I feel so disconnected. I'm like, yo, I'm still here, guys. Like,
Yeah.
yo.
Because like I think at the time, like when that happened, it was like I mean like Soul and Surdy like both talked to like, hey, we need bodies and like we are gonna have a third team.
Yeah.
We don't expect that you're gonna be considered for the third team, but like we just like want to hop in. And Soul hopped in because everyone was kind of getting murdered by Surdy. So that's kind of why Seoul came. So like they knew like what was up, and like
Yeah.
they're
It's
great. They were great to work with. They were great to
Yeah.
have in the tryout.
Yeah.
And I know like Spawn was like, yeah, if for whatever reason like Bradley is LCS like not on my team, A, I'm gonna be mad because he was gonna be the one player I had back. But B, like that's like super unlikely. So yeah, that's actually pretty funny. Because I remember I was talking to you a little bit like when you guys were like in Korea, because I think that's like when it was figured out like around that time like it was gonna be Harry on core, and like you guys were trying to figure out the rest.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Speaking of Korea, I plan on going back in the off season too.
You are?
Oh,
Yeah, I plan on that.
So I actually just talked to a couple Challengers players that did book their tickets.
Mm-hmm.
They were eliminated this past week, but I'm happy for them. Is there anything that like were any big highlights for you the last time you went, or anything you're looking to do again this time, or like for the first time this time?
Well, so the last time I went to Korea, I stayed at a very expensive place, and I think this time around, I'm probably gonna try to go to like maybe a PC bang.
Okay.
Because what I did was I stayed at like a very expensive hotel, and I had a PC in my hotel room.
Oh, and you had it set up.
And I was just gaming from there for the most part. Now, you know, if people are feeling good, if we won like 4 games in a row, we'd go out to dinner. You know, like if me or Jan or Armal, if we won like 4 solo queue games in a row, we'd be like, oh, let's go get some like chicken. Like, oh, it's gonna be so good. Good night, yay! And then like that kind of thing. But for the most part, I just kind of played from my room, like all the time in Korea. I didn't really go out that much. So I feel like going to like a PC bang this time when I'm going to Korea would be like a kind of fresher kind of experience, just kind of like hang around everyone, that kind of thing. Because I want to experience that
do
too.
you like clubbing?
Clubbing's fun. I mean, I'm not like the biggest party person. The way I basically describe it is like I would never do it by myself, but socially, like every once in a while.
Yeah.
You should grab the gamers and go to the Octagon.
I don't know if I've heard of the
It's
Octagon.
I think it's called the Octagon. I haven't been there since 2015, but it's a club with 8 different floors, and on every floor there's a different kind of music.
There's a different kind of what? Sorry.
Different kind of music, like a different kind of DJ.
Ooh, that sounds
So
fun.
if you
So
don't like
like-
one floor vibe, you go to the next one. And
Exactly.
It
It was downtown. It was super sick.
That does sound fun. I feel like going to a PC bang in Korea, I mean, it's one thing to like do your whole boot camp from there, but also like just to go once would be such a cool experience because that is such a core part of Korean esports and like their culture, you know, and like obviously what you experience here.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't game from a hotel, but when I went in 2018 for Worlds, I spent like 2 days back to back, just like, you know what, I have extra days here, and I've already kind of like hit all the museums and like local places. I went to the
You went to Busan though, right?
Yeah, I just went to Busan, so I wasn't in Seoul. But like I hit up the Museum of Modern Art over there. I hit up an aquarium, and I hit like a couple of places that I saw like on food YouTuber places.
Yeah.
Like just you got to go get galbi from here. You got to get pork bulgogi from here. So I was like, okay, well these last 2 days, group stage is over, but I'm gonna see the first day of quarterfinals, and it's like a 2-day lapse. In that 2-day lapse, I found a local PC bong, and I got one of the, I guess he was like a student, helped me make an account in Korea because technically,
Yeah, you need a Korean SSN.
correct.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I don't have one of those. I said, okay, I can find you one. I'm like, wait, how does that work?
Just ask a
Don't
friend.
ask, don't tell.
Yeah, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
I assume that like you guys go through Riot to like get your accounts.
Yes,
or-
yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I didn't.
When I was there, I just borrowed an account from one of my friends.
Yeah.
I actually kind of wonder if
Yeah. Did you have your good time at karaoke?
I did have a good time at karaoke.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder like part of me is tossing around like actually like wanting to go on a Korean boot camp myself and like traveling with a I like my goal would like if I were to do it, it's like you asked me like what I would like do during the off season. I can't do it this off season. I got other stuff. Like I've been tossing around ideas. If I want like a group of like 2 or 3 players, and like my job would be to like just be there like as an adult, but also like I'd have an account where I can play. Like if any players would be like, hey, like can you look at this for me, or like I can like toss around ideas, like trying to like help out.
So you would be the RA of the group.
Yes, which
Yeah.
I have done before, but also I want to see how far I could get on the Korean ladder myself. Like I would like play to like warm up in NA and like try and hit like D2 plus, but then like
Can
if
I
went
come
over there-
too and not have to be an RA? I just want to play Korean solo.
I just want to eat Korean food.
That too.
I have a fun PC bong stat for you guys.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is from the research for a video that I've been writing for the last several months and probably won't ever finish.
Yeah.
So while I was doing that, I crunched the numbers on how popular PC bongs are in Korea
Yeah.
versus McDonald's in the United States.
Oh.
So I found out that there's 14,000 McDonald's in the U.S., right, which is 4.3 per 100,000 people.
Okay.
There are 12,000 PC bongs in Korea,
Holy shit.
which is 23.1 per 100,000 people. To just give you a
Yeah.
reference about
So-
how common they are,
Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's pretty crazy.
one of the things that I did, so when I went to Korea, I did that as a study abroad program, and the whole thing was it was part of the informatics program. So I went to go kind of go visit a bunch of universities and talk about how like the difference in like internet culture and like perceptions of technology were over there. And one of the things that is really interesting to know and kind of talk about that we don't really talk about in terms of esports over here, but Korea did a couple of things that made like esports super easy to get into over there. So the first thing is that in the 90s, they spent millions and millions of dollars in order to wire up the entire country, right? Like everything is wired in at the expense of the government. And then they basically handed it over to a bunch of conglomerates, which are called jables. And those jables are like, imagine, so as a quick stat, Bradley, I want to ask you, we'll say the top like 10 companies in the United States are like Amazon, Google, Facebook,
Okay.
like General Electric, Walmart, all those guys. What percentage of the U.S. economy do you think those 10 companies are?
Oh, probably an insane percentage.
Give me a number.
I would probably estimate like 85.
It's like 15.
Wait,
Yeah.
Am
The
I-
top 10 companies compared to the U.S. GDP are like 15% of our GDP.
wait, really?
Yeah. Now,
That's still
What
a shit
makes
ton. That's
up-
still a shit
that's
ton.
still a lot.
Yeah.
In Korea, the equivalent 10 companies make up 60% of their GDP.
Okay, that's concerning.
That it's a problem. It's a
that's
massive
concerning.
problem. But that's why SKT and KT, which are your big telecom companies, are massive, massive companies. And they don't
Okay.
just do telecom, they do fucking everything. The other thing that Korea did, other than making internet super easily available for everyone and dirt cheap, was also in the 90s, they were like, hey, we have a lot of women that are working from home. We need them to not do that. So they basically paid all the women in the 90s to go take classes on how to use computers and the internet. They paid them to go do that.
Oh, wow.
So like the entire country since the 90s has been growing up understanding how to use the internet. Internet is dirt cheap. PC bongs are like $1 an hour
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so just
Interesting.
like it is so easy to access. And you come here to the United States, or so in Korea, like in most places you have 4 or 5 telecoms to choose from. Here in the US, you're lucky if you have 2, right?
Oh, we get fucked by Spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, there are huge swaths in the United States that are just, it is never going to be economically viable to put high-speed internet to, because there's just not the people there, the geography sucks. And so, like, Korea is insane for this kind of
So
thing.
that we get the cable companies to like, have
Yeah.
the nipple flaps and like, oh,
Yeah, Mnet,
your
CJ.
service is out?
Yeah.
Oh no. If no one's seen South Park, the reference,
no.
that's
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. Well, if you
Speaking
ever
of-
wondered why the esports culture is different,
Yeah.
just laid it out.
I mean, it's not the
Yeah.
only reason, but
well, it's a
it
big
is
reason, right? Yeah, like
huge
it's
contributing
just
factor.
accessibility.
Yeah. Accessibility is so easy.
That was an interesting aside, I must say.
Yeah, it was an interesting
Yeah.
tangent.
So
Also, it's been on cable TV since '96
What
in
has?
Korea.
Oh,
It was a
OGN.
OGN started in '96.
Yeah.
Which was a big part of making it mainstream there.
So Korea trip soon. Half of that trip.
Probably not. I need a passport.
You don't have a passport?
You don't have a passport?
Mine
Cody?
expired. I got to renew it and get like a new one because I had a
I was
kitty
about
one.
to say, it's like, bro, what are you
Anyway,
doing?
what next? What do you guys want to hit on? We got a couple more NACL things. We got one fun thing for Bradley. And then
Oh,
we got
I
some
do
LCS
want
stuff.
to. I did have a thought. Thoughts on going up against 100 Thieves, because when Insanity came off and we did an interview with him afterwards, it was like, hey man, how are you feeling? He's like, I'm bored. 100 Thieves just decided to not show up today.
100 100 Thieves, I think, was... Well, okay, so I'll say this. I personally was really looking forward to playing against Sniper, like leading up to the year.
Yeah.
100 Thieves in our run was actually the last opponent that we would play against in the entire of the bracket for like the regular...
Yeah.
Or for like the regular... Yeah, for like the regular season. And then on the last official match of his...
Get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
health
Yeah, it was a
issues.
bummer.
And I was like, oh my god, that's
Unlucky.
kind of lame. But it was actually kind of fun to play against Tenacity.
Yeah. Old
that
boy
was kinda
Milan.
That
Yeah.
was like a throwback. It was kind of cool. I hit him with the rock.
You did hit him with the Shamrock Shake.
I threw a big rock at
Dude,
him.
Yeah, you hit him with a
Your
Shamrock
Malphite
Shake.
was so much better this year than last year.
Yeah.
Holy
Well,
shit.
playing tanks is actually pretty interesting in of itself because
Tanks are fun.
yeah.
Tanks have way more skill expression than most people think.
No, it's actually funny too. I always tell my team this, and it's always like they'll always laugh at me, but I feel like only like top laners will understand this.
Yeah.
I say this because it's like, okay, the lanes that fight to the death aren't actually carry versus carry. It's tank versus tank.
Yeah.
Those are the lanes where you actually fight to death, and it's just so funny because what just happens is you both walk to each other, bang, both hit each other for like 50 damage. And then, like, you both just look at each other and you're like,
Like, all right, wait, who's winning?
yeah, like, I'm going to do that again.
Yeah, well-
like, that didn't hurt that much. And you do that like 10 more times.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, we're both
Yeah.
like 10 HP now.
The other thing that's really important about playing tanks that a lot of people don't realize is that unlike playing between most different classes, like playing the difference between an artillery mage and AD carry, you're basically playing the same thing, right? Your mindset is very similar.
Yeah.
But if you shift from playing like Jace to playing Malphite,
Oh, yeah.
like it's completely different. And then playing Malphite versus playing Scion is also like it's a different class of character. You don't think about playing them the same way, and that's the thing that a lot of people struggle with.
I mean, I think that like what Bradley's getting at, and like I think why tanks are fun is that a lot of times like in carry matchups, like sometimes matchups can really boil down to like one or two interactions.
Yeah.
Like, can I outplay this? Can I
Yeah,
flash
yeah.
this? Like something
Yeah.
else I have in my kit. Whereas like with tanks, it's like, can I play this correctly for a 30-second period where I'm going to go through 3 or 4 like spell rotations and like outplay everything? And a lot of times like the other tank will have an ability to get like outplay a couple things.
Yeah.
Which I find very fun.
I find
'Cause,
it so fun.
Like that's like where I really miss Maokai being a tank. Because Maokai, like your W, your E, your Q all require skill expression. And in a lot of matchups, you can use it. It's like, okay, if I time my Q correctly against Chase, I can cancel the Q.
Yeah.
Or
I was watching LJL Steel and I got fucking tilted as hell watching pros play Maokai for the first week in the play-ins because they were
I remember this
so
rant.
shit at the character. And it was just like this character is not
Yeah.
that hard, but like what the fuck
yeah,
is this?
it's like
I'm
a bunch
better.
of like Maokai Gnar. This is like old meta, right?
Yeah.
But it's like
I love that meta.
I can cancel Gnar hop. Can I twisted advance like a boomerang or like a rock from Gnar?
Or you can dodge like his
or
stun.
Mega.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can outplay Mega. Like that's like something like I would say like the Gnar has to wait that out. Like
Yeah.
So like that would be like an error on the Gnar. Like there were a lot of like interactions because you have longer fights where it's like if I get this right, I can win. And I think that's like there is something
That's for
fun
the
to that.
lane for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
there is
also-
something fun to
Also
that.
in team fights, right? Like the idea of going from like, oh, they're hitting me, I'm dead, to like, oh, they're hitting me, good, right? Like
Yeah.
that is a shift in mindset that a lot of players who don't play tanks don't understand.
It's
And
something.
a lot of players who
yeah.
do play tanks are bad at it because they don't understand it.
Yeah, it's the same thing for carry junglers too. Who are
Yeah.
then forced to. I think we saw like a lot of junglers both in major leagues around the world and in challengers who primarily played things like bruisers and fighters, to then going to straight up Sejuani, Maokai duty almost every single game, and they when they play their ganks, they would play it so timidly and not think about if I hit my CC.
Your mic sounds
Yeah,
like shit,
Mark, you gotta
apparently.
put it back on the stand. The cord is not enjoying whatever you're doing.
Oh,
If I do it like this.
I guess you just gotta keep it more still.
That's fine. I will. I hate the stand personally. I'd rather just hold it.
yeah,
Well,
I
now
feel like
it's
I'm
just cut
eating
out
my
entirely,
microphone right
so I
now.
think it's just kind of freaking out generally.
Well, that's a shame.
Anyway.
Fun
Haha,
times.
carry junglers playing tanks, haha.
Yeah.
Haha.
Well, I mean, like, just in general, when you go to playing tanks, you need to play with your life less of importance and your importance is to accelerate others or to just, give space in team fights as well.
Speaking of, I will use this actually to pivot. Are there any other NACL things we want to go over, bring up before we do move on? Because we are pretty.
Who do you think's gonna win? And
Yeah.
What two teams and what's their score gonna be in the
I
finals?
think, if you want my prediction for the entire thing, I think we're gonna beat Fear, and then I think, I actually think that Dig is going to beat C9.
Ooh.
And then
That's what I predicted.
And then I think
You like the
we're-
full court press?
And then I think we're gonna be playing in C9. And then two things are gonna happen. I think if we beat C9, we'll beat Dig. But obviously, I think if we lose for C9, then I think that Dig will just win.
Okay.
What's the score of the finals?
If we make it versus Dig, I think it would be 3-1.
Okay, and then if you don't
I think Dig will win 3-2.
against Cloud9, all
Yeah.
right. Cool.
I'm excited for playoffs. Best of luck, of course. I think we got 4 good teams left. So, and every team, slightly different style. I will little bit different style. I think for everyone, which is kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on. Transitioning. We talked a lot about tanks in the top lane. I know that something that you kind of miss, of course, that we've talked about is your mid laners that you miss playing top.
Yeah.
So we have something for we call this terrible tier list because we like to make fun of tier list and being terrible.
Okay.
Hopefully this is not too bad.
Okay.
But throwing it up there, producer Manny, mid laners playing these mid laners top. All right. Have we gotten crazy in solo queue of late? / what have we seen? Where do these mid laners rate if we put them top lane? We're gonna throw them up. This is the batch we got. There are any additions you'd like to make? We might be able to fit one of those in too.
Yeah, I feel like there are definitely some additions that you can put up here.
Ooh, okay. Let's start with maybe those. What are champs that you have attempted or maybe think are not poop top that you've seen be playing mid?
Syndra could be up there, I think.
Oh, okay. We have a Xiaohu enjoyer.
Yeah, I think Syndra could be up there. I definitely this one is like very off theme of a I think Orianna is like kind of similar than Syndra, but I think Syndra would do a better Orianna. But you could probably still play Ori. This one would probably be very non-traditional, but I actually think you could play Zed top.
Into what?
That's what I used to be good at.
Or do you
back
not
in
want to
Next
spoil?
Eve.
Well, there's no way I'm playing Zed top, so you can play Zed top into the squishier blinds. I think you could play Zed
Into Nara.
into things like Gnar. You could play into
Yep.
Jace.
Yep.
I think you can even play into Gangplank, even though Gangplank's not that meta.
Can you play it in the Renekton? I've actually
No.
seen Zed in the
Hell
Renekton.
No.
No, that
No,
matchup
you-
sucks
you're
for
gonna
Zed.
You're gonna get shit on.
Like, honestly, if you ever see like a blind Zed or you see a Zed too early in the draft and then you like swap Renekton mid, I've seen that happen a lot of times.
They changed ZZ where they lower the cooldown. I was wondering if maybe you could use that to space, but I guess not.
It's too hard. Renekton is
Okay.
such a stat check champion.
Yeah, no, it really is. All right.
No,
moving
but
on.
Okay,
Zed,
so-
Zed shits on Gnar. So Gnar loses. Gnar and Jace lose to every champion that can get on them twice, and Zed can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking
Where are
at
we
the
putting
list.
everything?
Yeah. We got to start tearing these, Bradley. We got a few additions for you.
Yeah. Okay, so I think if there's going to be any S tier champion in the top lane, I would actually probably put Cassio in that slot.
Yes.
I think Cassio would probably be the only S tier champion on this list.
Do you remember when Huni played Cassiopeia top?
I remember
This pick, I swear to God, it fists Malachi harder than anything I think I've ever seen.
It fits a lot of lane top lane. It fits a lot of shit played in the meta right now currently.
What's it like into Cassante? Can you play it into Cassante?
Absolutely, you could play this in the case.
Okay.
Really good into Cassante.
Yeah, no, that's a matchup that would be okay.
His W would be fucked.
If you actually look at LoL Analytics and you search up Cassante counters and you search like D2 plus for the past 30 days, Cassio's the #1.
Is it really?
It is Cassante's lowest win rate.
I think you could also play Rise into it in theory if Cassio works. No.
Yeah, well, Rise is like slightly different, I would say.
Yeah.
Because the thing with Cassio is she has her all-in threat that really makes her like I think the S tier top laner because
That is true.
like if Rise Rise can go conquer, but his all-in threat is way less than Cassio.
You kind of need phase rush against Cassante too in case you get hit by the 30. I think you just die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd put Cassio in S. I think The rest are somewhat situational. Like, you've seen Victor into Gangplank before.
Fuck. I want to queue up and play Cassio into Cassante top now. That sounds brutal for
Yeah.
Cassante. All right, continue. Yeah, Victor in the GP is good.
Yeah.
Victor into Aatrox was an old matchup before you played top. That was
Yeah.
really big.
You can see things like Lethal Tempo LeBlanc. I think
Victor
can be
into
up there as
Licorice.
well.
Yeah, did you see the LCK game where Dindin put up the LeBlanc top?
Of course. Yeah, the Lethal. I mean, I actually think it's good, by the way. Like,
All right, where's it going?
You could put like, say, like the thing is, like the rest of them are kind of like situational.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
so like in the situation where it's good, I think LeBlanc should be A. I think Syndra, Victor should be A. I think Zed will be A. And then I think after that, I think Anivia and Ori would be B. I think Karma's weird because
We got changed. The change to the auto attacks on her ultimate is big.
Yeah, I mean Karma's also weird because it's like whenever you play Karma top, you don't really play her like as far as like mid lane champions going to top, they don't really play the same. I mean they kind of do, but it's Karma's more of a supportive character. Like even if you play Karma top, you're more rather than not still building support items.
Yeah.
So it feels weird to put Karma in this list because she doesn't feel like necessary. Like, I mean, you could still play Karma top even now.
I know Lorlo is still advocating for Janna top right now.
Well, with Smite.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Oh
God.
my god.
What
What is Samson cooking?
I mean, it makes Yumi look good. Anyway, continue.
I think Azir should be B as well because there's a specific matchup, Azir versus Gangplank.
Yes, I was about to bring up
is,
Gangplank.
is really good.
It's
for
really,
Azir.
really good for Azir.
Yeah,
Even after the changes,
when
Good question.
When I was playing in Korea, I played against Bertle, and Bertle played Azir versus me when I was
Yes.
playing Gangplank.
He Bertle has some cursed solo queue picks. That's one of his. He's
Yeah.
very good at it.
Bradley, do you think Azir is still really good into Gangplank on 13.5?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I think
You could go early attack speed for Nashers. Or you can go Berserker Greaves and get early attack speed. You have lethal tempo too. It's not bad.
yeah, because the thing about Gangplank that actually I think makes Azir even better into Gangplank, even though Azir got nerfed. Gangplank has shifted. I don't know if you guys have noticed when we watched Gangplank last year versus this year. I feel like Gangplank has shifted more of a barrel champion than a Q poke champion.
Yeah, 100%.
Last year you would see Gangplank.
You were one of the only people that played barrel GP.
Yeah.
You were like one of the first people that was like going Reaver Claw into IE.
Yeah, like last year in lane, I remember you just rush Sheen.
Yeah.
And you just Q poke over and over. But the laning phase now this year revolves way less around Q because more often than not, the amount of damage that you'll get to them with Q and Sheen is just not enough with D Shield and Second Wind, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you're
More
rotating
often
out
than
barrels
not,
and
yeah,
trial by
you're-
fire.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just rotating with, so that you can farm like 9 CS per minute and then go into team fights like lol, hey, and then just shit on people.
Yeah.
Yeah. The difference in the mana cost on the Q is really big.
I guess Rise can be B tier as well. Actually, should Rise be B or C? Because like, okay, the thing with Rise is like, okay, Rise can be good if you need AB like a threat, but like the thing, like okay, the reason you pick Rise in the mid lane, right, is like okay, you get push and then you roam. So well, I can't really do that top, right? But then the thing that Rise also has going for him in the later stages of the game as a mid laner is like, okay, like, you know, you build your defensive boots, whatever they are, if it's Mercs or Tobbies, right? And then like you go into a side, and if you're picking Rise into a good slot, like normal, like a mid laner, a traditional mage would never want to just one-on-one side with you. So like Rise normally in the mid game will always be pushing down a side wave, always making someone match them, that kind of thing. But if you're playing Rise in the top lane, generally top laners already have that role. Like if they're playing that sort of style, and I feel like a lot of champions can just do that better if you wanted to play Rise. So it feels a bit weird because you don't really get any roaming threat, and you don't like if you're gonna pin someone to the side as Rise in the later, you probably want to play something else like Fiora or something. Although it can work, like
there are a couple matchups I still think Rise is playable top.
yeah,
right now.
no, don't get me wrong. I think
Like Rise
probably-
Renekton, I think Prowlers kind of breaks that, but I still fucking believe that you can like murder Renekton early as Rise.
I think the biggest strength that Rise would have is the fact that dives and ganks. I would say that would be probably Rise's biggest strength.
Yeah.
It's very easy to dive someone with Rise and very easy to gank someone with Rise. So that's
Yeah.
probably his biggest strength.
Okay.
So I would probably put him B. And then honestly, I kind of don't want to touch Karma because I don't feel like
I can just
Karma-
delete her from the list. She doesn't need to be.
Yeah, get her the fuck out of here.
Yeah. And then
I put Zoe in because you said that you miss playing Zoe.
I do miss playing Zoe.
And then also I put
but I think
Brandon.
Zoe would suck.
Brand's the
as a top
Zamudo
laner.
shout.
So we put in Zoe D tier.
Yeah.
I would probably put Zoe D tier. And
Zamudo does like his brand top.
I don't know about Brand. I would put Brandon C. I don't think it's as bad as Zoe, but I don't like. I think Brand Top would face a lot of issues. I think the main one that Brand would
You have
face
no movement in a long
is
lane.
getting dope.
Is Draven a mid laner?
Oh, Draven Top's really good if you can play it. You know what's funny actually? In my last day of Korea, I was streaming solo queue,
Yeah.
and so when I realized I wouldn't hit Challenger because like I was playing for like 30 hours straight, I was trying to like hit Challenger.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was 2 wins away, which is kind of sad, like at an earlier point. But I was like grinding really hard, and then when I realized I couldn't get it with the amount of hours I had left, I was like, all right, now I'm gonna start playing things like different. Like I'm not gonna be playing like my meta shit anymore. And like some of the things I was playing, like I remember I played a game of like Riven, played a game of Teemo, but I played Draven Top one game, and it was funny because I played against, I don't know if you know who T1 Challengers is, the top laner Doll.
I do.
I played against him when I was playing Draven Top, and I remember it was kind of fun. It was fun to play.
Did you fist him or did you get fisted?
There's
no other alternative for Draven top.
I don't know. See, like I won early, but then like a Draven, the Draven things happen where like one thing goes wrong and then you're just completely useless.
The game's forked. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was winning early for sure because I'm playing Draven Top, and then like one thing went wrong. I wouldn't say it was my fault. Maybe that's a little bit of cope, but like like something
Name
goes
names.
wrong.
Which Challengers player in Korea was it? No, I'm kidding.
No.
Where are we putting Brand again?
Probably C.
C.
I think Brand is C for sure. I think because like the Brand's issue would like most of against any top laner is like, okay, if you trade with me, then you're not using anything on the wave because I will just stand outside of my wave. And if you use spells on the wave, I'm just going to walk at you and murder you. And then it's like, okay, if I take away any HP and build a wave on you, you're just getting dope.
Yeah.
Like Brand is one of the squishiest characters of like this game.
Yep.
Brand dies to like a breath of air.
Yeah. But if you do 10k damage and you die 10 times,
I mean,
is it
that's
worth?
true. That's true.
Yeah, who knows?
So this is our final tier list.
This is the final tier list. All right,
Plus
fun.
a couple additions.
Yeah, mid laner's top. Thanks, producer Manny, for sticking with us on this one.
There's your screenshot.
Good times. Yeah. All right, we got the screenshot. Let's go.
I also saw the additions that Manny made. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
yeah,
that was
the
well played.
faces?
Yeah.
were
Anyway, Bradley, we're gonna move into some LCS talk right now as we do have playoffs on the
Okay.
horizon. How much have you been following LCS?
Pretty
If at all.
heavily.
Okay, pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So we have some matches this week. LCS caster Rafa, I'll let you walk us through some of the bangers we have.
All right. First of all, is my microphone okay?
Yeah, it sounds good so far.
Cool. All right. Well,
Oh,
Oh.
you jinxed it.
Ooh.
we okay?
I think he
Yeah,
did
now we
not
are.
touch the metal.
I think it's the wire.
The wire is fine.
I mean, this is anyway. Keep going.
Testing 1, 2, 3
I mean,
with
it sounds fine now. Like the crackle will just be short and loud and annoying when it happens. It doesn't like it's like you can still hear you.
Okay. Well,
Man's not
Thursday.
bound by Stan.
So Thursday and Friday are upper bracket matches. Thursday being Cloud9 first seed taking on 4th seed CLG.
That's Friday.
One.
No, that's Thursday.
That's Friday.
There's only one way to find out.
That is Friday.
Oh, there it is.
You're welcome.
I got lied to. Wait, the playoff bracket graphic I saw was Thursday was the top match. Wait, why is it?
Cringe and ratio.
I'm
mark.
producing
Wait, that is
CLG
weird.
C9, so I know for a fact that this is the correct one.
Okay.
I can
Friday.
see what you're saying. What you're saying actually makes sense if Thursday was on the top and this stays like.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why is it that the case? Because then the
It
lower
looks
bracket it
weird,
has
yeah.
Saturday, Sunday,
This
I'm
guy-
and then
assuming
next
so
week
the
is
one seed has an extra day. I don't know. That's the only reason I can think
Cringe
of.
and ratio.
Yep. Cringe ratio.
All right. Well, okay. Well, in my head, it was Fly 100 Friday. But anyway,
Good matchup.
okay.
Probably
yeah.
the one to look forward to.
Fly 100 Thursday, C9 CLG Friday, and then Saturday will be Golden Guardians taking on the loser of FlyQuest 100, and Sunday will be EG taking on the loser of C9 CLG.
So likely EG CLG. And honestly, I don't know who's going to face Golden Guardians.
It's
I actually
why?
see the thing is generally I would root for FlyQuest. I would say like they had a very dominant run for a majority of the time.
Yep.
But as of recent, sometimes I feel like they don't look the same. And I feel like,
There's a certain mid laner that has been struggling.
well, I'm not going to call out any shots. I'm just saying, like, I would generally root for Fly. I think, like, honestly, I would still probably give it to Fly, but I can see a world where 100 Thieves wins.
I just want to remind you guys, Tenacity at the season kickoff event bet his hair on the outcome of the series.
Correct.
He said he would shave his head if he lost to FlyQuest in the playoffs.
Wait, really?
Yep.
For real.
Oh my god.
It's on tape.
It's on tape.
Wow.
He did it
Dude,
during the kickoff.
Do
Honestly,
you think I'll actually do that?
yes. And honestly, that's great motivation for Tenacity because
That's
he
good
loves being a fucking pretty boy.
Yep.
That's just my read. I mean, I respect it. Hey,
Yeah.
I also love that Tenacity has just like been like, fuck it, I'll play tanks the last 2 weeks and they're winning.
So yeah,
Bradley, can you relate to this?
Every top laner gets to that point. You're like, sometimes you're like, fuck it, I'll be the rock.
So
Fuck it, we'll play Sion.
Let's go through. Let's just go through the Thursday and Friday matchups because I think it's hard to talk about Saturday and Sunday and like because we could assume
It's pretty
that-
easy to talk about Sunday.
I might be coping with CLG, but you know,
You're
like,
coping.
yeah, I mean, like, but I think it's a fun world to discuss and entertain. I mean, like,
I also love conspiracy.
Let me
theories.
help you with this.
Yeah,
Sure.
when it
CLG
gets reported.
100% win rate versus Cloud9 the last week.
Ooh.
1-0.
one game sample size,
And
baby.
CLG challengers.
Results based
So,
analysis.
Yeah, a little bit for
Anyway.
back.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, let's talk.
Let's just admit that contracts and FLYC they both had like their best game they'd had the entire season.
Okay. I will repeat a quote of a friend of the program, Kelsey Moser, in that there is no other jungler I would want in the league playing an unwinnable draft than contracts.
Correct.
Because for me, that is what happened with CLG versus C9 on the last day of the last week, and they won. Because contracts and Palafox fucking balled out.
Literally, contracts did the legendary jungle surf maneuver where you gank every single lane
And win everything.
and win every lane. Like you flip every single lane, the flip lands heads.
And then stole dragon.
Yeah, blind. Well, not blind, but he just checked over the walls like, oh shit, it's stealable.
That's mine. Yoink.
That's mine.
Yep, that's mine. And like when you get to do that against Blabber, who's probably been consistently the best jungler in the league so far, that's a fucking hell of a highlight there. Now, consistency is what plagues CLG, but you know, I think as most CLG fans know that when you doubt them, that is when they are their strongest. So I'm going to let us all continue doubting CLG in their C9 series. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm also gonna doubt Golden Guardians. I never believed that they were a real title contender, and I thought it was wild that people were saying they were.
Same, but I think that besides the last 2 weeks, they were for the whole for the season, but they did fall off.
They even at their best, it's just like it didn't feel like they were winning as much as other teams were losing.
I'm like they're winning because Stixxay and Huhi stepped up their laning phase and they actually like took advantage of all-ins level 2 and then River knew how to immediately leverage that
Yeah,
off.
River's good.
Yeah. But are you saying then that Stixxay and Huhi are not good?
They are. I'm not saying that they are individually bad. Gory's like okay.
I mean, I do think that Gory was probably he's a really strong mid this split.
He was overperforming to
Yeah.
hell during the middle of the split, but like mid has been super weird this year.
True, actually.
Yeah,
Miz has been very
but Stixxay, I think Huhi's overrated as fuck, and Gory's also been overrated. So Golden Guardians, like yes, they had a really good string where they were winning a lot, but I don't think it's because they were playing well. I think it's because a lot of other teams were playing badly.
Okay.
And so unless we see similar performances from the other teams, Golden Guardians are going to lose in the first round here.
Given who they're facing, I agree.
Yeah.
I think that GG loses either match unless we see like a significant turnaround.
Yeah, against Fly 100,
Oh,
I think
your
it.
mic is freaking out again. I don't know.
Are
what's
all
going
these
on.
best of 5s?
Yes,
Okay.
these are all best of 5s.
I want to tell an interesting story from this past weekend. By the
Okay.
way,
Story time, story
You
time.
reminded me, Cubby, of the. Basically, I walked out in the audience a couple times, and I met Cubby there, and he told me in every single game that one team had a superior draft versus another every time I went out there. And in the first game, he told me that Cloud9, they're going to run over CLG. Their
Okay.
draft is shit. They stand no chance. What
No.
happens?
It was that draft was so fucking C9 favored. Like, I was looking at a 10K goal deficit, and C9 was still fighting. I talked with another LCS team in the stands, and their head coach, who I will not name, was like, I don't know how C9 lost that draft.
Well, you know what I was looking at after that game?
The fucking scoreboard, CLG won.
The potential for 5 fucking tiebreakers. Because if they'd won that game, they could have done that. Then, EG versus Team Liquid. EG, they've got a great draft. TL, they're going to dominate.
EG's
What's going to
draft-
happen? What happens? TL wins the game.
EG's draft, looking back,
we go closer to the nightmare scenario. Of
I
5
slightly
tiebreakers.
coped on EG's draft, okay?
Then,
And it was TL, they throw. So
later on,
Hey.
Dignitas versus Golden Guardians. Dignitas are winning.
Okay, that
There's
one
thing.
No, that one for sure. That was the worst fucking Kindred ult I've seen in a long ass time in the last fight. GG should have won that.
There's
for
one
sure.
thing that could prevent the 5 tiebreaker series, and I'm like, and you know, at this point, I'm just hard coping, right? I can't stay there for 5 extra games. We don't want to be there till midnight. And Cubby, in my hour of need, says no. Dig are gonna throw. They're gonna lose because Golden Guardians had the better draft. So like right now, I know if I want a team to win, I just need to convince Cubby that they have the worst draft. That's what I've learned.
I would like to refer you to Game 5 of the best of 5 I casted today, where I saw the most a very poor draft, and it lost. Anyway, sorry, Fly. Moving forward, yeah, that was true. That was very funny, Manny.
Cubby needs to insert that one for hit so that the brand is good.
Brand is
I'm not worried about it. All right.
Well, I mean, the difference is that you predicted the draft would lose in a Challenges League team, but for LCS, it's not good.
I guess I can't handle the pros. You know, not ready yet.
I mean,
No, don't worry about it. All right, Bradley. What do we have?
He's too single for
What do we have for LCS playoffs?
What do we have?
Yeah,
As far as-
what are your thoughts on, like, do you think C9? I know the Fly versus 100 is kind of a coin flip for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That's the very interesting one, I think.
I think C9 will take it, but I actually okay, I'm kind of with Mark on this one. I actually think CLG can win versus EG. Can.
Oh, versus EG,
Yeah,
that is winnable.
Yeah, I actually think that's winnable.
They don't win, but it is winnable.
Yeah, it's definitely winnable. I would probably say it's probably like 35-65. I wouldn't shut them out completely. I definitely think they could be better on the day, for sure.
Okay.
Because they're like, especially last year, if you remember back, like they were 1 game away from knocking
They were?
TL
They were?
away.
It was a hell of a series.
Yeah,
They went to
that-
5 with C9 too.
Yeah,
Sprint.
The
So-
C9 series is better.
One player difference, by the way, between that series. And it's just the mid lane.
No?
I'm gonna say.
So I definitely would not count CLG out by any means. I mean, yeah, I think I don't want to fully give up on Golden Guardians. I think they might, but I would put them less odds than like the CLG EG one. But the big one for me is probably Fly and 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that's the match.
Like that's like the big one. For
It's a
me.
great match, actually.
Yep.
Yeah,
it is.
I mean, personally, I will always root for Fly because my boy Ayla's there.
Yes, I'm actually very excited we get Busio versus Ayla.
that
Oh,
is
Oh my God, I
that-
didn't even realize.
that is a big,
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
I didn't even realize.
big, exciting narrative matchup. I don't
Yes.
know, unfortunately, if that will be the focus though.
It should, okay, as the biggest fan of that matchup, or I should say we are probably the biggest fans of that matchup on this couch, I will say there's no shot in hell that should ever be the focus.
It's not.
It's
like,
not.
That's why I'm saying.
Mark, your mic's freaking out again. I beg of you to return it to the stand.
This. It's just this fucking base is like I have to put it here.
Nah, man, Mark just wants to be cool and different. He's got to join the crew.
No, I prefer not having to hold like a giant bulky thing, man.
You do
I
it.
will
Just
say,
just put it on your leg.
I will say, as again the biggest fan of that matchup, I do think that bot lane is the focus. but you have
No,
to.
it's
Fly
print-
100?
Don't worry.
Yeah.
We we had our story meeting earlier. We are.
I know. I have
it's-
faith in you guys.
Yeah, we. Well, I mean, you didn't earlier.
What faith was I lacking earlier?
Well,
And your lack of faith disturbing.
I guess it wasn't this year, but it was last year, and then you're
With JoJo in
Yeah.
spring?
Yeah.
Yeah, JoJo was mishandled in spring.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I don't have faith, but yeah.
But the Manny, please tell me the mic is not freaking out, right?
It's fine.
Fuck the stand. Anyway, it is.
It's now based.
It is Prince Doublelift. That is the main focus.
Oh yeah, I mean
for
the
this match.
story is way too good.
Yeah.
But I do think that the subtext of Evo Busio below that's really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is something that, like, if I were casting that matchup and I know that, like, okay, at the highlight it's going to be Prince Doublelift, but if there's space in the game, I'm definitely bringing that up. I'm definitely bringing up the fact that Ayla and Busio were our top 2 candidates for
Wait,
most valuable prospect
Bradley,
in summer.
Did you hear how close that vote was?
Yeah, wasn't it like 3 or 2?
Oh, it was a 2.5 hour discussion.
Yeah.
And
They were the only 2 candidates.
okay, so the first vote we had, so the way that we did it was that we all got to list out 3.
5. I think it was 5.
5?
I think it was 5.
Okay.
What, like 3 per person?
Yeah, 3 per person, I think.
Yeah, anyway, so we listed our top 3 in order.
And it was a 1 point difference between Ayla and Busio.
I think Busio was +1.
So then we went to, all right, just these 2.
Yeah.
Josh was arguing for Ayla. I was arguing for Busio.
Yeah.
We had multiple people flip-flop multiple times.
Yep.
Some more than once. Like, they went
Yep.
back. It was a 2-hour discussion. We voted as a talent team, and it was 4-4.
Oh.
And we had a tiebreaker that we figured out as a team. And that's what got it to Busio. It was very close.
Am I allowed to ask what this said tiebreaker was?
We might have had a superstar producer last year that helped us with the tiebreaker.
Oh, okay.
That would be very qualified.
Bradley,
arguably more qualified than
While
us.
we're on the topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the criteria. We're going to give you the criteria that we use for most valuable prospect. And this has been true for the past 3 splits, even if it has not been super well communicated. In theory, this player is going to be promoted to LCS next split.
Yeah.
Okay?
Or as soon as possible.
As soon as
Right.
possible.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. They have 2 splits where all of the wins that they get on arbitrary LCS team, you get 1 point. Then they have the subsequent 2 splits where every win that they get in those 2 splits, you get 2 points for each of those. Bless you. Which player would have the most points? And that is the most valuable prospect.
Right. Like, are you asking me for this?
Yeah, for this split,
Who would you choose?
given those criteria, who would be your most valuable prospect?
Unforgiven was DQ'd because
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's.
I was gonna. say
Unforgiven's DQ'd,
Unforgiven,
MS
yeah.
is DQ'd, Balulu's DQ'd,
Tomo's DQ.
Tomo's DQ'd.
For all of them, it was games played. For Unforgiven, it was the fact that he was first team LEC Pro. We were kind of biased against him. Well, not biased against him, but just kind of
let's
out.
Think about it for a little
really fucking
bit.
good.
I think.
Emphasis on, like, yes, their second year is more valuable, but this
Yeah.
person has to be promoted.
This
right away.
person is likely top 2 in their role. Has to be top 2
Yeah,
in their
they have to be promoted
Pretty much.
going into summer.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see you giving it to Hoon.
Who?
Okay.
I'll just say this. I was laughed at for suggesting it.
Really?
I did suggest it, though.
I mean, who laughed at you?
I
That's the real
I
question.
suggest it because I think
That's harsh.
I suggest it because
I said it was an okay shout.
he.
Because I don't remember a lot of people.
Sorry, let Bradley talk.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say I suggest it because I think he's probably the best carry top that we see in the league at the moment,
Okay.
and I think
He's the best laning top.
yeah, and I think in a year I wouldn't give him like maybe straight away wins on like your first year going back or whatever, but in 2 years I could definitely see him doing well.
So the Busio argument.
Yeah, I mean, that has been a consistent argument of, like, how good do you need to be now versus how good do we think you'll be in a year? Right? Like,
Yeah.
that's always the tough question.
Yeah.
And so last year, that was the big crux, is like, Ayla is really good now. Busio might be better than Ayla in a year, right? But I think it's interesting because last year, I will say this, last year we had 2 people where I think as a team, we were very excited to give it to one of them. I think this year, to be honest, we were not, partly because like some of the people that were some of our front runners, like if Jimenez was legal, like
If MNS was in the
probably
league the whole year, he wins.
Yeah,
Side of the
yeah.
year.
yeah,
If Toma was in the whole year, he would have gotten his.
Yeah.
he would have been, he would have definitely been at the top. And then after that, we were not as excited.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I realized
I'm
that too when I was thinking.
You're excited?
About it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, Cubby's excited.
Yeah.
I am not as excited. I think this player, our most valuable prospect, definitely deserves recognition.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And I think all of the people on the list deserve recognition. I think there's a couple people beyond that aren't going to get official shouts.
Oh,
that
I
deserve them.
didn't think everyone.
I mean,
else
I think I
deserved
know who
recognition.
it is. Wait, has it already been decided?
No,
We
we've
have decided,
decided,
yeah.
but you won't know who it is.
We will not. We
Yeah.
will not say.
But
I think I know who it is, though.
Okay.
who
Talk
knows?
about it after, but
Who
I'm
knows?
pretty sure I
Yeah.
know who.
Okay. Who do you think we gave it to? We will not confirm or deny.
Okay. I'm like almost 99% positive you guys gave it to Masu, but I guess
Okay.
I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty confident that you guys gave it to Masu.
okay. Interesting
good.
guess. We've definitely hyped him up a lot, and
Yeah.
he may or may not be our winner or in our top 5.
Yeah. I just heard a lot of hype from him.
Yeah.
And like rightfully so. He does play really well.
Yeah.
In,
Yeah.
like, the games where he shines.
I think that he didn't have his best series today, but
yeah.
he was
bad.
he was a huge part of the reason why they got here. He's been pissing on some bot
Yeah.
lanes. Yeah.
It is worth noting that I remember we had a big conversation about it last year, where if the most valuable prospect was an award that included your playoffs performance, Insanity probably would have been in the discussion because he played
yeah.
really well during Proving Grounds, and
He was already in the discussion too.
yeah
regular
yeah,
season,
it's
yeah.
fair. We kind of touched on him, but
I guess, well,
Yeah.
the thing that I would think about Insanity is like, not to discredit him, but I wonder how actually good he would be in 2 years, or if he's like going to maintain. Because I'm not saying this to hate on him,
It's kind
but
of like the Ayla argument,
I
right?
yeah like
You don't know how
I
much
feel like-
yeah.
is there.
well, he's also been in the scene for a really long time.
So
yeah,
I'll help you here.
2017 is when I knew him. On
Yeah,
live.
I'll help you here because like this was my argument for Busio last year. Because like Ayla had 4 years of play between Oceanic and Academy, and Busio had 1 year of play in Academy and 2 years in the role, and that was part of my argument for like, hey, I never in my argument said Busio is the better player than Ayla today.
Yeah.
I was always like, this is how good Busio has been given the time that he's been allotted, and like in theory, like he could keep on picking up more and learning, right?
Yeah.
Because I do think that like a lot of league is knowledge, and like when I see Busio is like being caught like on like the wrong side of the map, I'm like, okay, that is an easy fix. Like that's an easy thing that like we can get out.
Yeah.
And of course, like throughout the season, he did fix those things because in spring he was pretty terrible. Like in the second round robin, 100 Thieves had the worst record. He was definitely a part of that.
You know what's actually really funny, and I can say this just because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
I remember way back when I was a mid laner, when I was on wild card, we were scrimming against 100 Thieves next.
Yeah.
When they had Young and Busio, when Busio first role swapped.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so bad for Young. I was like, oh my God, like this is rough. Like not
Yeah.
like obviously look where he is now, but it's just like
Yeah.
back then it was like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Your support could replace you.
I
right
mean,
now.
yeah. I mean, that was a huge part of my argument, right? Because like I think that like how far he came in as quickly, like that does matter in any skill that you're trying to pick up, like
Yeah.
in life, right?
Did you ever play against Busio when he was like on Polar Ace in 2020?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because his name was Busio C, right?
Yep.
I don't
The team was Flares.
I probably have before.
It was Flares, like 3 different junglers.
Yeah.
Busio,
Spawn.
Spawn, and I don't
Julian.
remember their support.
Julian.
Oh, it ended up being Julian. They
Yeah.
replaced support.
I probably have it at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm kind of curious when you look at other players, and I don't know how much you think about it, but like try and project like how close they are to their cap. Like, what do you look for?
For me, I would probably. It's a mix of a lot of factors. I think time in the scene is a big one, and like their track record. So if they've had a lot of time in the scene, seeing their track record is very important. I think their cap, I place a lot of value on mechanics. I think a big cap.
And what does mechanics
extended-
mean to you? Because it's a very nebulous term and people don't agree.
I think mechanics, in essence, are when you are involved in a play and you don't have to say anything. People know how you should play it, and you play it without even having to communicate it to your team. I think
Interesting.
that is, in essence, what mechanics are.
So we would consider that visualization.
I don't
Okay,
think
butcher.
so.
Okay.
I think because I think like,
I mean, there is two parts of it. It's like first you have to see it, second you have to execute it, right?
yeah.
So like if we can see like someone can see it but doesn't execute, obviously like that's there are two.
It's hard. It's
aspects,
hard to
right?
say if someone can see it sometimes.
Well, like they have to execute it for you to be like, all right, they can see it.
Yeah.
Other times it's like, all right, they almost had it, like they missed. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. So I definitely think I place a lot of value on like mechanics, because I think when you think of like who a player can become in 2 years, I feel like if you look at like the good players now, like in LCS, LEC, LCK, whatever, they're all exceptionally mechanical in their own right. I don't think you would ever think of a good player that is just not good mechanically. Like I don't think that's a thing really.
Yeah, the Bengies
the
don't
closest
exist as much anymore.
The closest we had to that, I feel like, was Doinby when he won Worlds. Like he was a very smart player.
My favorite was
I
Keen.
think.
Yellow Star.
Well, that was really long.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
long ago. But
I'm
you're correct.
I'm just saying more recent, because I feel like
I will also say, and something that I've talked with GMs about, and this supports what you're arguing, is that the way that League has evolved as a game, from the game developers, it is more and more emphasis on the mechanical aspect of the game. Like they've taken out lane swaps. They've taken out, like, even they tried to go with counter jungling, which is bullshit. They reverted it. Thank God. They saved the game.
Yep,
like,
that's good.
they are trying to make the game more where it's more controlled variables, where you're more likely to be laning for an extended amount of time, and you can use those to then get more of a lead later. I agree with you.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that's very important. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm curious what you think on this, because the things that I look for in players when trying to determine like how close they are to their cap and how much more room they have to grow is, one, can I tell they're autopiloting? And the easiest example of this, it's not the only one, but the easiest one that I always find is, let's say like you and your support are going to hit a ward, and the support pops the trinket, and the support kills the ward while the AD carry's there, right? Like you're not thinking, right? Like you're on autopilot. That's bad all the time, right? And so if you're doing that, it's like, well, you need to not do that, because you need to be thinking about the game the whole time.
Yeah.
The other thing that I look for is, and a less obvious example of it is when I watch people have abilities off cooldown and not use them. That is, to me, one of the coolest things you can do in League of Legends.
Oh, you mean patience? Like
yeah.
Okay.
If you if you have an ability, it's off cooldown, and you're like, I will hold this for like 2 seconds in order to use it at the right time. If I can see players doing that, it shows that they're constantly thinking. And once you have transitioned from, a lot of people talk about mechanics as like an instinctual thing, but instinctual players, I find, tend to hit their cap faster, because it's really hard to retrain instincts. But if you're a process-oriented player who's like, oh, no, I needed to wait to see this other trigger to do it, right? And if you can vocalize that, not only can you then talk to your coaches and other players to like say you have the vocabulary to talk about it, but you're also thinking about it. You're not autopiloting. And so I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on that.
I do think a small thing to kind of maybe adjust is, I think, though, while I do agree with like the overall concept, I do think, though, one thing that you might be overlooking is that I think mechanics can come from the thought process first. So for example, like I do agree, like the instinct of reacting to something or seeing it. I think, though, if you process what's going to happen first or what should happen, it makes your reaction that much faster.
Yeah.
And I think like the best example I can give is like Malphite Ultimate. If you think about Malphite Ultimate, it's much easier to flash it than if it surprises you.
Yeah.
Have you heard that interview with the Shy, where he contests the fact that he's like a hands KDA player, because he's like, oh, I actually think of everything, and just do it. I don't know how true that is. That sounds like cap to
mean,
me, but
maybe.
he does.
Yeah, he thinks about every interaction. Just
That's what he said.
he just doesn't think whether or not he should be on that wave or not.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
he says he like disagrees with the characterization of him as
Interesting.
like a pure.
I mean, I
player.
think what Bradley's talking about is a really big thing, right? And I talk about it every now and then in the context of priming, right? Like, because it's super well documented that if you know a stimulus is coming, and you already know what your reaction to that stimulus will be when you see it, you're going to react about an eighth of a second faster.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like a lot of ways that like you can bluff in the game, like with pros or
Yeah.
because like if I'm playing marksman and like it's a close fight or like I'm like looking for a play, I'm looking like all right, I'm going to look out for this animation, and when I see it, I flash, right? And there are ways to bluff it. That's like why S key works on Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
Like that, like other stuff.
Flash on Malphite and Eski.
Yes.
Yep.
Something that tilted me and even Josh, even though Josh doesn't play jungle, but he knows. When I saw a lot of Elise early on this season, or maybe it was tilting Cubby.
Oh, I was pissed as fuck about
okay,
this.
so
I
like,
was pissed as
yeah,
fuck.
So
Please continue.
Yeah. So Elise, the best Elise players, when they go for a gank, they'll auto attack.
With red buff.
Yes, to slow, and then you don't throw out Cocoon. You throw out Q because Q looks similar to Cocoon, and so what you're waiting for the player to react with their main mobility spell or flash, because then.
I mean, it's also like the way that Q works is the most efficient when you're max HP. So you get auto Q that cancels the back half of your auto animation. Then you apply the red buff slow. So pretty much why I was pissed, Bradley, is that I saw so many Elises with red buff just lead with Cocoon. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just walk up, auto Q, see what happens, and then we can think about knee, right?
So do you want to know something very interesting, something that I advocate for very heavily?
Yes.
Yes.
I am a major sound gamer.
Yes.
Sound I use so much in League of Legends. The biggest examples I can give are things like for dodging skill shots. You don't have to react to a Nidalee Q by visual. You can react to it by sound. You can hear it coming out.
Yeah, and you react faster to sounds than you do.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
you can do the same thing with Elise Cocoon. Elise Q has a very distinct sound. So does Cocoon. You can react to it that way. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, but I'm just saying I feel like I don't hear enough people talk about sound in League of Legends.
Oh, I'm not even talking about like you were 100% correct. Like that's how I do like Sonya's.
Yeah.
Like always. That's like how I always time Sonya's. I played music, so like, I mean, sound helps with that.
There's timing.
I think that like I was talking about like reaction to Luis. I was just talking about like junglers like would just fucking lead with Cocoon and Luis, man. I was so tilted. I was like, you should not be playing with like this champ like you're gonna lead with Cocoon. Just walk up and auto them. Anyway, that's my rate.
I mean, that's something. If anyone wants to play Nidalee, although I don't advocate it.
Same. Walk up with red buff.
Yeah,
I don't advocate
walk
people playing
up
Nidalee
human
either.
form, just auto
Not in my
until
games.
they react, and then it's easier to land the spear.
Bradley, I'm curious if you even know this. Do you know what the visual indicator is on Scion for when you're going to get the knockup?
On Scion.
Yeah, when you start charging your Q. There's a visual indicator.
Are you talking about like the Q?
Yeah, on the Q. When it transitions from a slow to a knockup.
I always use sound for
Yeah,
sound
I'm pretty
as well.
sure. Doesn't it change color?
That one's inconsistent, actually. Like, it's really hard to tell because it's a gradient. I think Mark knows. Do you know?
I think it's the outline on the top.
No, it will be a knockup before the outline completes.
I thought it just.
But I thought
Your
it was-
axe will flash. There will
Yeah.
be a glint. And as soon as you see that glint, you get a knockup. And the outline is really fucking stupid because it doesn't always. It's especially depending on the skin. It's not always consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we're an hour and 40 minutes in. We have one more thing to go.
Ooh.
So we're going to move on. Bradley, this is the part of the show that people like the best besides us having guests.
Oh, we got
Okay,
a couple more things. We got the hot takes.
We'll go over hot takes probably another episode.
Okay, yeah.
Still not wrapped. This one went long. We went down some fun rabbit holes though.
True.
But we have our last rabbit hole. The most LA thing that happened to us this week. Bradley, it can be just of late. This is the part of the show where we just kind of bitch about LA. We've had some funny sharings late of the past. I think most of them do come from Manny, even though we had a great moving story from Josh.
Okay.
Yeah. that was
We've
a
had
while
some
back.
good parking shenanigans ourselves. Would anyone like to intro us for the most LA thing of the week that's not Bradley,
have
so
a
we can show 'em how it's done?
I have a pretty simple one.
All right,
I
what's
got
up,
a
Josh?
simple one, too.
I was just driving somewhere, and this car was over here, like trying to merge into traffic, and they couldn't. Like there was no space here. So what the car does is it comes out, drives up on a sidewalk for half a block, and cuts in front as soon as the light turns green.
Not bad.
Not bad.
That's one way to fix the problem.
Okay, that's pretty LA.
It was a nice car too. I think it was a Benz.
Have I told the train story yet?
No.
So last week before LCS on Wednesday, I was walking to basically I walk 15 minutes from my house to the train station, then take the train to LCS studio basically. And what I was doing was I crossed Exposition, right? Because it's the Expo line. There's it's one way in each direction, and then there's a green arrow thing that will take you across and left to go on the other way, right? But it takes you across the train tracks because down the median is where the train goes, right? So I'm kind of walking there, and I cross the street, and I notice this car goes through on the yellow. You have to do that in LA, so it's not unexpected.
Yeah.
But then, instead of completing the turn, and there's nobody coming in that direction either, so it's not like he's going to get hit by someone if they go early. He stops because the light has turned red. So he stops in the middle of the train tracks.
What?
And I'm like, looking at him, I'm like, what the hell?
Bro, you're about to get hit.
I'm like, dog, just run the light. Like, run the light. Why?
Oh, get out of the road.
Why would you, exactly, why would you do that? And then I look over to the right, and the train is coming. Like, it is, dead at, it's, 200 or 300 yards away down, the end of this city block, and it's coming. And I start waving to this guy. I'm like, hey, the train is coming, and the train is getting closer, and it's blaring on the horn. Those trains, they have their default little sound they make when they're coming towards the intersections. They have an extra horn, which I learned. And the guy's blaring on the horn. The train is trying to stop, and I'm waving to this guy. And finally, he notices, and he still doesn't want to go. And I'm like, dude, get out of the fuck. You're gonna get hit by the train. The thing can't stop. And finally, with the train maybe 100 feet away from him, he finally decides to just run the light. Because I'm waving my arms, yelling, run the light. Just get off the train tracks, right? And he did. And he dodged out, and he just barely missed it.
Manny almost saw Final Destination played IRL.
Oh, that train doesn't move fast enough for Final Destination, but I would have seen the guy's car get fucked up beyond belief, and I wouldn't have been able to make it to work because my train comes from the other way.
Oh.
So that was really what I was concerned. No, I'm kidding. I just want to make it to work on time.
It's in the back
That's
of
the
your
most
head.
LA
for
thing
sure.
I've heard this week.
But
That's pretty good.
That was that was the most confounding thing because it's not like there were other cars on the other side of the road. It was pretty empty, and the guy was just oblivious. Rule number 1, I thought, of train tracks is don't stop your car on the train tracks.
That makes sense, I think.
I think that's rule numbers 1 through 5, and then everything else is after. So that's my most LA thing.
All right. So I actually have one positive and one negative.
Oh, a
I do actually
good
have
one.
I have a positive.
I did go to Wispa. That
this
was pretty awesome.
This might be my first positive about LA.
Wow.
At least I shared on the show. There are more positives. All right. I love my job and I love the people around me, but fuck this city. We went to a place that was actually known as Nick's Bar in New Girl. That's probably the most I've talked to my sister since I got here. She was very excited about that. And I'm like, well, if you want to come visit, we'll go there. And I think now she's actually.
Can I reveal the name of the bar?
Yeah, it's
It's called The Prince, y'all.
Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, if you want to come out and visit sometime, we'll go there. And she's like, okay, she asked me about my schedule. So now she might be interested in visiting. Who knows? Love you, Grace. You're busy. But yeah, anyway.
It's time for Mark to start hitting on Matt's.
Ew, no.
Wait, is your sister named Grace?
Yeah.
I have a sister named Grace.
Wow.
Cool.
Let's
I have
go.
a twin sister named Grace.
Great name. Oh, I didn't know you were a twin.
Yep.
Wow.
Family members of friends, off limits.
No, they're not.
Oh,
It's a different conversation.
We're not going into this territory. Anyway, yeah, so that was fun. That's cool. It's the first spot we went to in LA. It's oh yeah, this, okay, this was filmed here.
You guys got food. Nice for you guys.
All right, Manny didn't get food. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
The other thing that happened is, so Mark and I went to the grocery store, and what I'm about to say, no judgment, but just I'm gonna say this as a very LA thing because I've never seen this anywhere else I've lived. The person bagging our groceries had a lot of work done in terms of like Botox. This person was probably like, I'd say like 40 to 45, like, you know, man, in good shape, you know, like good for them, but a lot of work done. And they're just bagging our groceries, very friendly, big arms. But I was like, wow, this is like, you know, this is LA. Like everyone's, you know, like this is just, it was very LA to me.
Like even a grocery worker feels compelled to get Botox done.
Oh, well, I mean, they could have been like doing like other gigs or like previously, like before.
Sure,
Like,
that
I don't know what
been
their
like their
past
night
is.
job,
Yeah.
but he's probably like maybe that's what it is.
I just found it somewhat comical that my person bagging my groceries was ripped and had like a big facelift. I was like, oh, this is LA. And drawn on eyebrows. Anyway, yeah. So
All right, Bradley. So the rules are for us, it has to be something that's happened since the last time we had a podcast, or since we were on the podcast. But you haven't been on the podcast before, so you can go throughout all of your history.
It can be even when you first moved here in 2022.
Ooh, do I have a? Because I was originally leading into this with a story that was more recent, but
You can
actually
tell that
found
one.
last year.
whatever you want
Did
to shoot.
anything crazy happened last year to me? That was like LA things.
It's mostly us ripping on LA, but it can be good.
Well, okay, okay. I'll just go with my more recent one just because I
Alright.
can't think of anything. So, me, APA, and a few of the FlyQuest boys, we went over to McDonald's on one of our off days, and we were just hanging out.
I know this story.
Oh, do you?
Well, yeah, because we went to McDanks and you told me this story on the way back.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you already know.
It's a good one.
So, yeah, so you know we're at McDonald's having a good time, and then after McDonald's, on our way back to our hotel or whatever apartments, this guy comes out of nowhere and then just starts walking with us. And at first we were like, oh, you know, like it's fine, like he's gonna turn right or left eventually, but
Monka W.
after a good 10 minutes of walking, we're like, whoa, this guy's actually just like chilling with us. Like he's a part of our group. Like he's literally like walking side by side with us.
He's with the boys. Now.
Yeah.
He's with the squad.
And about like 5 minutes in on this like walk back to the apartments, he starts to just rap about everything that he sees.
Was
Like,
it good?
Rapping about the color of the floor, the grass, like
Did you guys lay down a beat for him or?
I won't be as good as he will, so
right,
like, I don't
all right.
want to like discredit it, but like the best example I can give is like we walked past this family of like four, like a mom and dad and like two like kids or whatever, and like they had like little scooters that they were riding on, and this guy like made them very uncomfortable because like he's walking next to us and he just starts to point at them and going, you have a scooter, and like you can see both like the parents like, what is going on, like is this guy with them? And like we're like looking at them awkwardly, like no, like we don't know what's going on. He's been following us for like 15 minutes, and it got so like Monka-esque because at the very end, he like when we actually got to our apartment complex, like the area, he followed us there too, and like I was getting a bit nervous that he was just gonna like walk in the elevator with us to get back to my room, but thankfully for some reason he saw two people like 10 feet away and decided he was going to be best friends with them. Like right before we went into our apartments. Don't know why,
That's weird.
but yeah,
That's weird.
Yeah,
I-
that is pretty LA.
I've never heard of anyone experience that and elsewhere.
yeah,
What was his rap good?
I mean, it was not bad. Like
Okay.
it was fine. It, like
Could have been worse.
Comedically, it was really funny. Like on the outside looking in. Like it was really funny to like look at because it
Yeah.
was just like, what the hell?
See, at least like New York, you know, like they have like a permit to do that in a subway, right? You know,
Wait, you
Like
need
in a
permit
rap?
for that?
if you're gonna be a street performer, you need a permit. in New York. And if you're like be a subway performer, so like you know, you can have like if you're like decent, you can like get a permit. It's free.
Oh,
Work.
wait, that
Pretty
you
pog.
just reminded me of another LA moment.
Okay.
That was very sus.
Poggers.
It was very sus. I did not like it at all.
Okay.
It was like a street performance, if you will, but it was on the pier. And I remember I shared this with, who did I do the burger with?
That was me and Steve.
Yeah, I remember I
Amir,
shared this
yeah.
with you guys. So like there was like street performers and like we were like nice, yeah, like let's watch these guys.
Oh yeah.
And it was going like really good. And then like all of a sudden they would just be like, yo, like I just want to remind you guys, like, we have a wife and kids and like this is not free entertainment. And everyone was like, whoa, what? It was like very weird. It like the entire rest of the show, it felt like I was being guilt tripped to like give him money. And it was so weird because at the end of it, he was talking about like you know how like a street performance has like a final act, like like hype it up. He was like, all right guys, let's reach this amount of money and then we'll do the final act. It was like, what is going on? Like I've never experienced this before.
It's the tourist trap.
You're getting guilt tripped.
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Curious.
Have you seen the street jugglers, the people that walk out into the middle of the street and juggle while people are stopped at red lights? I've seen that.
Yeah.
Those have been my
I've
favorite
not
street
seen that.
performers
So, like,
since I moved here.
I saw it in New York actually.
Yeah. I mean, this was something that I would see a lot in Peru when I was living there for 2 years and when I was 11 and 12. And anytime you go to like the big national football stadium, you would have street performers and you would have street merchants. And other what's up, Manny?
I said football.
Football. Yeah.
Football.
Football.
Yeah, I mean that's like part of the event. You know?
Yeah.
It's huge.
But also like I see it in LA in parts too. Like I know on my drive to work, there's road and there's people that like go out there.
Tacos.
Well, it's not just tacos. Well, tacos they pull up on the street and they have like stands. But there's people that try and sell flowers and they like try to catch you at traffic stops or like traffic lights and they try
Or
to
with coconuts.
Um,
They'll walk between the lanes and they'll just like have like coconuts or like
yeah,
mangoes and shit.
coconuts, flowers. I think I've also seen peanuts too.
They're trying to kill people.
I'm allergic.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's how you get out of it, right? But I mean, it's just they've got no other choice, right? You know,
Yeah.
they're just trying to do something. But it is always a lot more awkward when they try to guilt trip you, and like that's why when I see it, like I just avoid eye contact because I know if I like even entertain. Because there's one time
Mark's
where,
becoming a hardened city person.
I mean,
No, that's how you do it.
yeah,
No.
I feel bad, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't carry cash on.
I lived in San Fran for 3 months.
That's okay. I have Square.
I was in Chicago.
It's like,
Yeah, no, that will happen. That too. Do you have Venmo? No.
it's like,
Anyway, good
yeah.
times.
Anyway,
All right.
that's kind of it. I didn't really have any. I don't think I had. I swear I was with one of you two, and something happened, and I was like, all right, that's going on.
Was
Mostly.
it? Were you with me when it was the guy on the sidewalk?
No.
No.
Wasn't it?
There was another driving thing that happened.
Wasn't it also the grocery store? I ran through a red light. That was like the first time I ran through a red since I was on my very first date ever.
I don't know if that's most LA thing. I think.
No,
that's-
it's not. It was kind of funny though. I was like, just like, I don't know. I just like realized like went through a red. It was
Yeah.
like, it was bad.
Yeah,
We'll see if I get a ticket for it.
That's what it is.
it was tough,
Find
I was
out.
like, you know, the last time I went through a red light was the very first date I ever went on.
and I felt very
Mark was
flattered
like,
at that moment. So
Cool. Well, we are.
Yeah, we're about to wrap here.
Hour 52.
Yeah, we've it's been a little bit long. Also, we have a tornado warning for Los Angeles right
Oh,
now. So
what
it's
the-
what?
Yeah, we do.
Real?
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's on my phone.
You're getting one and I'm not.
Well, I have the Weather Channel, and I
I
get
have the Weather
push
Channel
words.
too, yeah.
Anyway, Bradley, thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming out.
Of course.
Best of luck in top 4.
Thank you.
Anything that you'd like to share, floor is yours before we wrap here.
Follow me on Twitter.
What's your Twitter? Drop it.
Bradley with 3 Y's, LOL. That's my Twitter.
Bradley.
Lol.
Lol.
All right.
There you go. It's in Twitch chat now.
Best of luck. We're going to make sure to get you home safe throughout the tornado warning. And also, you wore a shirt. You said you wanted to play Smash, but also you have to kick your ass in Mario Party 2.
Ooh.
Just
Good luck doing
rules
that.
of the house. Oh, that's
I have
what
what
I
they
fucking like to
call-
hear. It's what I like
I
to
have
hear.
what they call gamer jeans. I'm just gonna say.
Gamer.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Yep.
I will say most of our
Bradley?
guests have kicked our ass in Mario Party. especially
Nobody
when
has
I'm not
gotten
playing.
worse than second against us.
Yeah, I've heard
So-
my boy APA did not hold me.
All I'm saying is that a couple of those games where we had guests win, I was not a part of it. And that's probably going to be the case again because I have to do teardown, but that's fine. It's part of the fun. Thank you so much again. Guys, this has been Raising NA, episode 8. We'll be back next week. We'll see if it's Tuesday or Wednesday. Kind of depends on our schedule. Right now, it's kind of weird. But thanks so much for tuning in. You can catch us on YouTube. The live recording Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/CubbyXX. YouTube's CubbyMaster6, the OG gamer tag, as well as anchor.fm/RaisingNA. We are on Spotify, Apple, Google. That's all. Bradley, thanks so much again. That's inappropriate. We're going to see you guys next week.
Popping it off.
See ya.